Going to think this offer is too good to be true, but it's not. Thousands of customers have sold their homes in any condition with Sell My Home. This is a real opportunity from a highly rated company that buys homes all over the country. Did you know it's possible to sell your home right over the phone with no real estate commission and no pesky open houses? Plus, every offer is a cash offer with no mortgage holdups. To find out how much you can sell your home or property for, call now. Take 5 minutes of your time and call for this 100% free quote to sell your home.
800-430-0674. 800-430-0674. 800-430-0674. That's 800-430-0674. Hey, airline travelers, let's say you have a problem and you need to change or cancel an existing airline reservation. What do? Well, Skywatch is a free service that can help anyone with any airline reservation fix it. Whether you want to cancel it, change your dates, or add passengers, we can help fix your airline reservations so you get exactly what you need. We've updated our computer database and now have access to every airline around the globe. So now you can make one phone call regardless of who booked your airline tickets, and we'll change it, cancel it, and fix it for you. We know the insider secrets to fixing reservations that the airlines don't want you to know about. So if you need to cancel, change, or modify an existing airline reservation, call Skywatch right now. It's a free call, so let us fix it for you. 855-325-5647. 855-325-5647. 855-325-5647. That's 855-325-5647.
Are you over the age of 50? Want peace of mind and financial security for your family? Here's an important message to you from Senior Care USA. The average funeral now costs over $10,000. That leaves your loved ones the burden of paying your debts and funeral costs. Our plans start as low as $1 per day and will pay your family up to $30,000 to help pay for your funeral and other expenses. There are no medical exams. Your rates will never increase, and your plan cannot be canceled, regardless of your medical conditions, as long as you make your premium payments. Get up to $30,000 in final expense insurance. Call now for free information. Just answer a few simple questions and get approved right over the phone in just a few minutes. Call right now.
Call 800-399-6879. 800-399-6879. 800-399-6879. That's 800-399-6879.
Titillating Sports with Rick Tittle. Rick Tittle is a genius, the best show ever. He's so wonderful, genius, the best show ever. He's so wonderful. Titillating Sports with Rick Tittle. Rick Tittle he's so handsome, he's a genius.
You're now listening to the Rick Tittle Show. Good for you.
All right, thank you for that, and welcome back to the show. Rick Tittle with you coast to coast and around the world on the American Forces Radio Network. Right here in town tonight at the Big Room, Cobb's on Columbus, stand-up comedian Matt Kirshen will have a show at 7:30 p.m. Matt, welcome to the show. I know you hail from Northwood, and I've spent a lot of time in that neck of the woods. I coached football for a while, American football, to the Metropolitan Police at their fields at Bushy, and I've also been to Vicarage Road. I've seen Watford play. Was Watford your team growing up, or were you Spurs or Arsenal, or who was your team?
No, that's wild. Watford's my team. My whole family has season tickets. What are you doing? No American should be there. The only reason an American might be in Northwood, and because I know this goes out on Armed Forces Radio as well, there's a massive NATO base there. So we grew up knowing that, if it all goes down, we're the first place that gets nuked. But yeah, there's no reason for an American to what that's wild. Bush, you shouldn't ever be name checking those places. That is absurd.
How about this? I bought a cricket bat at the Harlequin.
My first job as a teenager was in the toy department at John Lewis in the Harlequin Center.
I'll give you.
This is absurd.
I got one more for you. I took a little, being a big In-Betweeners fan, I took a pilgrimage over to Ruislip, not too far from you, too.
That is also, yeah, this is, I feel like you're some kind of spy and you've got a dossier on my life. This is,
well,
is this some kind of sting operation? What is going on here?
I'm going to keep it going. I know you matriculated at Cambridge. Now, I didn't go punting down the Cam, but I did walk around there. What was it like going to such a posh school like that?
That was odd. With hindsight, odd. I was, if it helps, I was not a good student because I started doing comedy pretty early and I limped over the finishing line but so now I go back to reunions and stuff and catch all my friends and they're all professors and research scientists and I'm the idiot clown. But it was amazing. It was beautiful. You know, you're in these sort of 16th century buildings and stuff. It's wild. But I don't know if I necessarily took full advantage of everything there, except for the fact that I used it as a way to kind of start doing the nonsense that I do now for work.
Well, I mean, you're well aware of the footlights and the pythons that came through there. It's kind of a tradition, right?
Yeah, and so my first, they tended to be more sketch comedy, but my first ever stand-up gig was one run by them. So my first time on stage was one of their shows, and my first few shows were student shows, and then I started taking the bus down to London to do I get on the bus to London, it would take about 2 hours. I do like a London open mic for 5 minutes and then get on the bus back. And that's maybe why I failed my second year. And I had to convince them to not throw me out.
Well, here we would say, what did you major in? Over there, I know, say, what were you reading?
What was I reading? So I was reading, it was mathematics, that old mathematics to comedy pipeline that is so well trod.
Or as you say,
so many people have
the plural, maths.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Yeah, maths as we call it. Again, yeah. So I scraped through that, but I spent from my second year onwards, I was writing jokes. Initially, like writing for a college, like the college paper, like the college sort of funny alternative paper, and then I started doing stand up in my third year.
I'm trying to think. Guys, favorite Watford player, was it John Barnes as a kid, like in the Elton John days? That
kind of predates me, but he's still, I think, probably still held up as the greatest. Like he was the number one, and yeah, the Elton. So this is again for Americans listening, like before, if you got into like Welcome to Wrexham and all of that kind of thing, before any of that happened in the 1970s. Like, we predated that by a few decades. We can't now mock, we're in the same league as Wrexham now, because Wrexham have come up like 3 leagues, and we're still hovering below, we're back down below the Premier League now. So we play each other twice. We've already played each other once, and we can't, the other teams can kind of sneer at Wrexham a bit, like, oh, fancy Hollywood money, because we were bought by Elton John in the 1970s, when it was completely unheard of. Like, yeah, this is a sports network. You guys know, like nowadays, it's completely normal in all sports for the team to be owned or part owned by these consortiums and countries and massive organizations. But like back then in the 70s, your local soccer team was like owned by a guy called Bill, who was like the local millionaire who made his money making bricks. And then suddenly Elton John, who this sort of flamboyant pop star who wasn't out but was kind of out, like just this guy who'd wear like feathers and like nonsense on stage. Suddenly he buys Watford because it's his local team. He grew up not far from where I grew up, and like he was a fan, and so he bought the team. So I guess that's one different from Wrexham, where in the show in Wrexham they're kind of learning the entire sport as the show goes on, which is kind of adorable, and it's part of the charm of it. But he bought the team, installed this manager, this young manager called Graham Taylor, who, again, like sort of promising but untested young manager, and we went up like 4 divisions in the space of a few years. Like nearly won the top league, nearly won the FA Cup, and so it was that story. Like he's still held up. Elton John has one of the stands at Vicarage Road is named after Elton John, and another one's named after Graham Taylor. So I think he's still like the honorary life president of the team.
Most people remember Graham Taylor as the turnip head that kept England out of USA '94.
See that? Yeah, again, that hurts for Watford fans because he was a legend at Watford and an astonishing club manager.
Yeah.
And then managing England is not the easiest. You just get, it's
Well,
known as one of the worst jobs because you just get berated by the press, any mistakes,
and
there was a documentary. Again, this is...
Yeah, do I not
now
like
it's fairly
that,
common
right?
for cameras.
Yeah.
Oh, God, you really know your stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Now it's common for cameras to follow all the teams everywhere, but it wasn't as much then. And it was, this documentary that followed that campaign and just watched everything go wrong that could go wrong.
Carlton Palmers and Andy Sint. It wasn't bereft of talent. One thing I got to ask you before I let you go, though, because there are certain moments, and you can tell I'm a soccer nerd, which is weird for American.
Your level of knowledge of everything in my life is freaking me out. It is.
There are certain moments.
We have to have a drink together at some point.
Yes.
I need you to drill down.
Absolutely.
Yeah, tell me where you went in Bushy. Bushy. How do you know Bushy? Bushy.
The John Lloyd Tennis Center was right by the training pitches too.
Oh my God! Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
I was a bin man there.
What's that saying?
I said I was a bin man there when I was 14. Well, let me throw this at you before I let you go. There are certain moments in sports, or as you would say, sport, that transcend fandom. And I'm not a Watford fan, but everybody will never forget Leicester steps up to take the penalty, to put them at Wembley. It's blocked, and here comes Troy Deeney screaming down that last-second goal. Is that still your favorite Watford moment?
I wasn't there for that because I was already in America,
Mm-hmm.
and I wasn't following that as closely as my family was there. My dad was there. I have sisters who were there. So again, it's worth watching on. You can watch it on YouTube. It's one of the great holy hell how does that happen sports moments where it's ludicrous. Just this was the playoffs, semi-finals of the playoffs. It was the dying moments. Next goal wins it. Leicester gets a penalty, and then just watch the rest of how it plays out because it's ridiculous. It's still to this point, anyone who vaguely follows soccer, if I tell them I grew up near Watford, the first thing they'll shout is Deeney at me.
The only team that has a moose on their badge, but they're known as the Hornets.
Yeah, I should know why that is, and I don't. There is some historical reason for that.
Matt Kirshen.
We're known by a completely different, not even the same kind of animal. Not even
It's an
similar
insect.
Animal. One's a mammal, one's an insect. But
You don't need to go to Cambridge to know that. That's true. Matt Kirshen, check out his comedy tonight at Cobb's Comedy Club on Columbus down here in North Beach at 7:30. Matt, great talking to you, man. Let's catch up down the road.
So, I would love that. So great talking to you. Thank you so much for having me.
All right, good stuff. I'm Rick Tittle. Come on back on the other side.
Like the legend of the Phoenix, all ends with beginnings. What keeps the planet spinning? The force from the beginning.
Hey, vacation lovers! It's finally time to use all those random facts you learned on TikTok for something that actually matters. It's the Radio Trivia Challenge from thevacationbuddies.com. All right, here's how it works. Be one of the first 10 callers right now and you'll score a complimentary 3-day, 2-night getaway from the Vacation Buddies. You'll stay at none other than Westgate Resorts in your choice of Vegas, Orlando, Myrtle Beach, or Branson. You ready? According to Travel Stats, which of these 3 cities is the most visited vacation destination in the U.S.? A, Las Vegas, B, Orlando, C, New York City. First 10 callers get the trip. So stop scrolling and start dialing. And let's see if TikTok actually taught you anything.
Be one of the first 10 callers. Call Vacation Buddies right now. 800-340-1834. 800-340-1834. 800-340-1834. That's 800-340-1834.
It's more than a rebellion. When your teen is slipping into drugs or alcohol, when social media and pornography consume their time and their mind, when depression and even suicidal thoughts cast a shadow over your home, as a parent, you feel powerless. There is hope. At Turnabout Ranch, troubled teens step away from the chaos and into a clarity of nature on a working cattle ranch. Care for horses, learn responsibility, build trust, and rediscover purpose. It isn't theory, it's real work, real therapy, real healing. Families from across the country have found transformation right here, just when they thought hope was gone. If your teen is struggling with addiction, harmful online behaviors, even weight management, call right now and get the help you all need.
800-219-2494. 800-219-2494. 800-219-2494. That's 800-219-2494.
Life insurance is one of those things that just about everybody needs, but few people actually have. Hey, if you die unexpectedly without life insurance, guess what? You'll leave your family with even a bigger mess. Life insurance will help replace your family's income. It'll help cover burial expenses. Life insurance can even help pay off debt like credit cards and medical bills. Life insurance can even pay for college. And if you own a business and you die, life insurance can help your business from collapsing. It can even help cover estate taxes. Life insurance has never been more affordable and needed. Plus, you can always shop around even if you have a plan and save some money. So call the Life Insurance Quote Line right now for free pricing information.
800-915-9654. 800-915-9654. 800-915-9654. That's 800-915-9654.
I'm not insightful enough to be a movie critic. Maybe I could be a food critic. These muffins taste bad. Or an art critic. That painting is bad.
I'm so disgusted by Rick Tittle that I find him very intoxicating.
All right, thank you for that. Welcome back to the show. Rick Tittle with you coast to coast and around the world on the American Forces Radio Network. It's our pleasure to welcome filmmaker Meyer Levinson-Blount. His short film, Butcher's Stain, is now shortlisted to be a Oscar, to win an Oscar, I should say. It's already won a student Oscar. Meyer, welcome to the show. Before we get into the movie, you can't help but daydream and think about the red carpet and who you're going to thank in your speech and Vanity Fair parties, or do you let your mind go there?
I mean, I do let my mind go there. Stop it. I don't get my hopes up in vain. I don't want to be thinking about that stuff, and then, but we're all praying for that to happen. But all of this is very exciting.
So the double entendre, because Butcher's Stain is something that it's kind of like a what would you call it? Like a glaze, a Rust-Oleum type of thing. It's to keep the blood off the wood. It's kind of a double entendre going on there.
Yeah, Butcher's Stain is definitely it's in the name. You know, it's about, obviously it's a butcher, the main character, but it's also kind of about the stain of the national crisis and national trauma, and the person has to clean that up essentially. So it's about national trauma, and it's about a national crisis, and it's about who ends up being pointed at as the person who is responsible for it. And in my film, the individual who is accused is innocent and has nothing to do with the conflict.
The film is about the main protagonist, who is Samir, an Arab Israeli working in a supermarket in Tel Aviv, and accused of tearing down some hostage posters in the break room, and sets out to prove his innocence. To me, that sounds like at least 90 minutes. How long is this film?
This film is 26 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So it's short, but, you start from a certain point in the middle of the story and you progress, in sort of its own rhythm. But yeah, it's a short film that I made for my second year at school at Tel Aviv University.
And I think a lot of times, too, people, they tend to think, and of course everything is so extreme and clickbait now, but that everyone in Israel is Jewish, and that's just not the case, right?
Yeah, I mean, it is a divided society in the sense that there are, Christians and Muslims and Jewish people. And that's kind of what I wanted to talk about within this film is, that the supermarket does have people working there from all types of backgrounds. And I think that the idea of the supermarket was a microcosm of Israeli society itself. And so I wanted to talk about, the collective trauma and all of that happened that was tragic. And I also wanted to talk about essentially how that collective trauma has been pointed out to people. And that's also something that we need to be talking about and how we respect others during national crisis.
I'm very naive with this question, so forgive me, but I know a couple people that have lived in Israel, and they talk about the beautiful beaches and everything, but they also say that there's this sort of underlying, dare I say, fatalism, and that you really want to live because you sort of feel like everything is hanging by a thread at all times. Can you relate to that at all?
Absolutely. I mean, we've been at war now for a few years. Conflicts with the surrounding countries start and end abruptly without notifying you in advance. We even had to stop the shooting of the film itself at some point because of the attack, the Iranian attack. I think that that's something that really has to do with what the film is all about. It's about that kind of pressure that's put onto everyone all the time within a country that's defined by its conflict in a lot of ways, and that's kind of that pressure is something that makes everything extremely there's this sort of anxiety to it in the film itself. There's this ongoing dread that something really bad is going to happen.
Did you have to, because I believe there's still conscription for the IDF for both men and women, right?
What's that?
There's still conscription in the IDF for both men and women in Israel, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's still soldiers out there. Reservists, for sure, are out there. Yeah, it's an ongoing crisis, honestly.
So when you set out to make a movie, as you wrote it and directed it, no matter what kind of message you want to get across, it has to be entertaining, it has to be compelling. And so when you're casting it, Omar Samir plays Samir, and Rona Toledano, Oren Caspi. How did you come about the casting in this?
Yeah, so Oren Caspi is the producer also. He also played a small role, and he's been supporting me throughout my filmmaking career. The other actors, you kind of have, with a student film, you don't have a lot of power to contact agencies, and it's really hard to get hold of people. So the way that I did it was, going through Facebook or a friend of a friend. Specifically with Omar Samir, I was set up with an Arab actor agent who was very nice, and he read the script, and he said, "This is your guy." So he wouldn't even let me audition other people that he had. He was like, "This is exactly who you should be casting." And as it turns out, he was the person that I needed to cast. He was the perfect actor. He was professional, and he really encompassed the character. And we even kind of moved the shooting days for the production just so that we could accommodate him, because he was just exactly the character that I wrote.
It's funny, when I read the name Oren Caspi, it reminds me of Omri Caspi, who is played for the Warriors out here and the Grizzlies and the Rockets and the Kings, and Israeli basketball star in the NBA for a while. No relation, though, right?
No, I don't think so.
All right. Before I let you go, when you have a film like this, as I mentioned, it's your baby. You write it and direct it, and then you think it's good. You put it out there. You never know for sure. So with all the gongs and plaudits that you're getting for this, is it kind of surreal to hear that? Looking at the Oscars as well.
The whole experience is extremely surreal. This is my first film. I could never imagine that this is how far it would actually get. And we're all extremely excited, but we're also pretty stressed because we have to do a lot of stuff in these upcoming weeks. And we also, this is our first time around, but we're learning, and there's a learning curve, and we're understanding more as we go. And I think that this is just a very meaningful experience for me because it's the first time that I've gotten recognition for the art that I make, and it gives me the kind of confidence to prolong in a career like this.
Very good. Writer, director of Butcher's Stain. The short film is Meyer Levinson-Blount, our guest, and now Oscar listed. Meyer, congratulations on the film, and let's catch up on your next one.
Thank you so much.
Yes, and I've never been to the Holy Land. Never been to the West Bank. The closest I got, I guess, would be Italy, which is not close at all. But I remember Rachel Feinstein, and with a name like that, you can make the assumption that she's of Jewish heritage, and she is. She's from, I think she's from D.C., and she's a New York comedian now. But she told me on the air here years ago that she was in Tel Aviv, and they were in this mall that they thought was really cool. Then they went out to the beach, and it was warm, and everybody was in bikinis, and it was hot girls and hot guys, and they were having beers, and she was like, I don't understand what the big deal is. This is like the coolest place. And then there was an explosion in the supermarket, the mall she was just in, and she was like, oh, okay. Yeah. It's that's what I think that they talked about, that fatalism. It's pretty real. All right, I'm Rick Tittle. Let's keep it going, and let's get not so serious with the Hall of Famer, Devin Hester.
Keep listening for details on how to get up to $300 airline credit. Sky Holidays introduces a one-of-a-kind air credit program. Our buying team got a little too aggressive in getting hotel and air deals, so now we have to liquidate our prices. Here's how. Whether you want to go to Paris, Las Vegas, London, Atlanta, Hawaii, or anywhere else in the world, we have amazing deals. Book a selected hotel and we'll give you up to $300 airline credit. Now you can book your vacation and get a free credit to use towards airline travel. We'll book both, airline and hotel, with one simple phone call. We have access to most airlines and deals on thousands and thousands of places to stay. Call right now, book your hotel rooms, claim your airline credit. You can change or modify it at any time. 800-256-4816. 800-256-4816. That's 800-256-4816. Packages start at $29.99 a month with sign agreement. Restrictions apply. Speak to a representative for complete offer details. See Vivint.com for license details. Terms and conditions apply.
Homeowners, if you're looking for the best in home security and smart home technology at a price you can actually afford, we have great news. Now you can get Vivint's award-winning home security systems starting at about $1 a day. U.S. News & World Report has recognized Vivint as the best professionally installed home security system of 2022. And right now, you can get Vivint's home security technology for about $1 a day. Plus, get free professional installation from a licensed technician. Protect your home and loved ones for as low as $1 a day. Call right now for your free home security consultation.
800-918-6189. 800-918-6189. 800-918-6189. That's 800-918-6189.
Have you suffered sports betting losses? There is someone who wants to fight for you to see you get back what you have lost to those sports betting companies. Michael Watts is a prolific trial lawyer with over $11 billion in total recoveries for his clients. And now with sportsbettingclaim.com, he'd like to help you. Michael has been a leader in some of the largest and most complex cases in the country, from defective cars and tires to damaging drugs and medical products. He has always represented the rights of individuals harmed by large corporations. His efforts recently resulted in the recovery of billions for individuals who lost their properties to fires carelessly caused by electric companies and others. Michael knows that sports betting companies preyed on and manipulated consumers into losing their life savings, and he wants to make them pay. If you have suffered financial hardship as a result of online sports betting and would like help seeking compensation, please submit your claim information for evaluation at sportsbettingclaim.com. Michael Watts is focused on winning for you. sportsbettingclaim.com.
Teams have 4 attempts to move the ball 10 yards. So if you see a graphic on your screen that says first and 10, that means it's the team's first attempt to get 10 yards.
You must be crazy. Use a DOG. And if you was my man, I would have been kicked you out of my house by now. This is what had happened.
All right, thank you for that, and welcome back to the show. Rick Tittle with you, coast to coast and around the world on the American Forces Radio Network. It's great to be joined by the greatest kick returner in the history of college football and the NFL. It's the Hall of Famer, Devin Hester. He is here on behalf of Southern Recipe Pork Rinds and the 17th Annual Pork Rind Appreciation Day, and also the Gridiron Greats Assistant Fund, which is teaming up with Southern Recipe. Devin, welcome to the show. I know the Gridiron Greats and a lot of the work that Coach Dick has done over the years has done great work, because most players don't have long, amazing careers like you, and they have a lot of, aches and pains, so to speak, and they need that help. It's a great cause, isn't it?
Oh, most definitely, man, when you look at it, for sure.
You know, I wanted to ask you, too, because I played D2 football in the 80s, and I wonder if, I have CTE. Do you ever find yourself doing dumb things and then wondering, was this from all the concussions?
Yeah, I always joke about it. You know, I have teammates that I hang around still to this day, and I always mention to those guys, hey, man, you may need to get checked up, man. But we joke about it, but, at the end of the day, it is something that you have to really look into and make sure, everything is working properly upstairs.
So how excited are you about the Canes, man?
I'm very excited, man. I actually have 2 big teams. Originally the Bears. I'm excited what they're doing as well, and also the Canes right now. It's 2 big games coming up this week for me, so hopefully those guys can handle business and get a W.
Hurricane Hester, your favorite nickname or not?
It's so hard, man, because I have a couple of them that kind of stands out, man. But that is one of the top ones that I would say. Definitely.
Help me with this, because as an Oakland fan, I'm sensitive about teams leaving, obviously. And I know the Bears aren't leaving Chicago, but they might be building a stadium in Indiana. And I don't know what's wrong with Soldier Field. I know it's old. I know it's by the lake, but I know they refurbished it as well. Can you tell me, maybe you agree with me that there's nothing wrong with Soldier Field, or they just have to keep making new buildings?
I love the fact that it's right there in the middle of the city, right out the lake. But I do know that they're been having issues, with the city. And, it's not really owned by the Bears. And so when I was playing in Chicago, we would have a concert like Friday on the field, and then turn around and play on Sunday when the field is all beat up and stuff like that. So I think that's been a type of issue that's been going on for a while. They kind of want to control it a little bit more, and then with being involved in the city and events those guys are having on the field and things like that, kind of like play a part into it.
I think most football teams just want their kick returner to just catch the ball and not fumble it. They're not expecting 6 points like you would give. And I remember when I played, you'd form 2 wedges, return right, return left, return middle, and that was it. And you'd get maybe 7 or 8 yards. What was it about you that could you deke the people coming down at you? Did you just see that hole and burst through it? Was it just instinctual? Why were you so good at it?
I think it really played a part in the vision that I had, just seeing the entire field. And, you know, when I sit back and I watch games now, I get so upset with the returning because there's so many holes that I see that they miss, you know. So I think it really played a part in the vision that I was blessed to have, to see the whole field.
Now that we have that ridiculous-looking kickoff, do you think, oh, I would love that? Or do you think, nah, I like it the old way?
I think I would love that because to be honest, I felt like a lot of teams was able to kick away from me going into my second year in the league. And it took away a lot of my returns, you know. And so this new rule forces the guys to kick, you know, maybe 5 yard line to maybe 2 yards deep in the end zone, which I love. So nowadays they get more opportunities than where they was able to get away with a lot of touchback and, you know, kicking it out of bounds.
You know, you were a wideout, you were a DB. At most guys who return kicks say, well, I just do that on the side. When did it come to you where, like, they said, look, no, you're a DB or a wideout on the side. You're a full-time returner. Now that's your main gig. Like, when did that happen?
I think it had to happen maybe my last year in Chicago, where I pretty much came to the front office and told them, listen, let me just focus on kickoff and punt return. You know, we tried some things and didn't work out the way we planned. Let me just go ahead and focus on kickoff and punt return. I think that's when it really, really, like, took me off offense was my last year in Chicago. And then when I signed with the Falcons, they was like, no, there's no way you not playing on offense. We're going to put you back on offense. So it started back up then.
You know, there are a lot of things that have changed over the years that make me crazy. The old man yelling at clouds. Like, people don't form tackle. They just kind of try to bump into you now and try to tackle you. But the one thing that kills me, our punt returners calling for fair catches on, like, the 5-yard line. That would have got you cut back in my day. Just let it bounce into the end zone. What was your rule for, like, anything inside the 10, you ain't going to fair catch?
Yeah, I think back then I was pretty much taught, you know, just put your heels on the 10-yard line. And if you have to back up, then try to fool the guys and come up and think you're catching the ball. Was pretty much what I did. I put my heels on the 10-yard line, and if I had to back up to catch it, then it was a no-no.
Also a great track athlete as well, and long jump and the 100 meters and all that. I know a lot of guys, football players in college, they kind of think that, you know, I'm first and foremost a track guy. How much was track important to you, and maybe even trying for, like, the Olympics or something?
I don't think I was that good for the Olympics, but I was a decent athlete from high school to college. I would say that was kind of the end of my rope, college level. Did pretty good in that situation, but Olympic-wise, I wouldn't even dare try to go out there.
Well, you obviously made the right choice as a football player, but I know when you were a kid you played soccer. Do you ever think about if you just did that you'd be, like, playing for the United States national team or something with your athletic talent?
Man, I'm sorry to bust the ball, but I never played soccer. I don't know where they came up with that situation. I knew I did everything, but I didn't play soccer.
All right, I got some bad info at this point. But, like, with your son, I mean, soccer's different now because we got it on TV, we got stars, and they might be overseas, but, you know, you got little kids wearing jerseys from players all over the world now.
Most definitely. I wish I would have played soccer now that I see the outcome of everything. You know, those guys are making a killing and a fortune, man. That might not be a bad sport to pick up at an early age, man.
All right. At porkrinds.com right now, there's a contest going on about getting to next year's Super Bowl in Los Angeles. Can you tell us about that, Devin?
Yeah, so they're actually giving away 2 tickets, hotel and airfare, from the 2027. in Los Angeles, California, it's easy. All they have to do is visit portryan.com and enter in to win. It's a great opportunity. Like I say, all you have to do is enter in at portryan.com and get an opportunity to win. Like I say, 2 tickets. They're paying for 2 tickets, airfare, and travel expense. So, once again, portryan.com, enter in to win, and hopefully you get a shot.
The records that you have, like, most career return touchdowns, most career punt return touchdowns, most return touchdowns in a season when you're tied with as well. But, every year when the last undefeated team loses finally, there's always the 72 Dolphins, they start popping champagne so they can be the last undefeated team. But for you, what is the one record that you're like, man, I really want to hold on to that one?
I think it's most returns, touchdown in NFL history. I think that's the one I really, really want to stand. Now, I don't mind my kids coming breaking it, but anybody outside of that, I really hold on to that one.
Last question for you. And with all the hype you had, second-round pick, amazing player at Miami, and you're playing in a huge market with a rabid fan base like the Bears, and you stepped up and you did better than maybe even you expected. I mean, you're the greatest of all time. But what was that pressure like in the early days when everybody's like, let's see if this guy's for real or not?
Right. It was mostly definitely a lot of pressure. Getting drafted as a corner and as well as, what I did in far as the return game. It was a lot of talks and a lot of discussions about drafting me in the second round to be a cornerback and a return specialist. Because it was just rumors going around that they don't really draft guys that high in the second round for, as a specialist. And so it was just a lot of talks about things that I did in college. It was very impossible to do when I got to the next level. So I really had a big chip on my shoulder, to prove everybody that I was capable of doing it. And it started off with the first game against the Green Bay Packers first game of my NFL career when I ran a punt back. And from that moment on, it just really took off.
Were you like, I thought the NFL was going to be hard, pretty easy?
Yes, the first game when I returned that punt, I was like, man, I just knew that, it wasn't that intense like everybody made it seem. Well, at least for me.
Yeah. Well, that shows you're one of the greats. And remember, the Gridiron Greats Assistant Fund teaming up with Southern Recipe Pork Rind, celebrating the 17th annual Pork Rind Appreciation Day on February 8th. And remember, go to porkrinds.com for a chance to win tickets to Super Bowl 61 in L.A. next year. The Hall of Famer. How's that sound? The Hall of Famer. That sounds pretty good, huh, Devin?
Oh, yeah, most definitely. You had to put that on the end now.
All right, good stuff. Thanks for coming on, man. Appreciate it.
Okay, appreciate you guys for having me.
All right, Devin Hester, literally the best of all time at return and over 10,000 yards combined punt and kick returns. That's insane. I'm Rick Tittle. Come on back on Sports Byline.
Do you need to sell your home? If you've sold a home before, you remember how stressful and expensive it was. Sold.com is here to help you sell your home for the most money and with the least amount of stress. There are new ways to sell your home that you've never heard of before. Did you know there are companies who'll offer you cash for your home? Did you know you could trade in your home for a new one? Did you know there are realtors who'll sell your home for a flat fee instead of an expensive commission? It's true. Sold.com services are free. So if you're looking to sell, make this free phone call right now and learn how your next home sale can be faster and easier than you ever thought possible. Pick up your cell phone and call right now. 800-251-7816. 800-251-7816. 800-251-7816. That's 800-251-7816.
I am an American veteran. I'm proud to have served this country. Helping veterans is something all Americans can participate in, and it's as simple as donating an old car that you have sitting around. When you call the Veteran Car Donation Program, they'll explain how their program works, and then arrange a time they can come and pick up your vehicle for free. Running or not, it doesn't matter. They take cars, trucks, motorcycles, or vans. Show your support by donating your car and get a tax deduction in the process. Call the Veteran Car Donation Program right now. They'll come and pick your car up for free, and you'll get a tax deduction in the process. Call the number we're about to give you right now. Thank you, and God bless America.
800-887-1097. 800-887-1097. 800-887-1097. That's 800-887-1097. Do you have a book? Get it out of your mind and make it a real book with a free guide to book publishing. Trying to publish a book yourself can be complicated. It takes a lot of time. Time that you could spend writing your book or even more books. Do what you do best. We can do the rest. Thousands of authors across the nation have trusted our book publishing service. We have the connections to help you get your book printed, distributed, and sold on Amazon, Apple Books, Barnes & Noble, and bookstores nationwide. We can do it faster than you can on your own. Get your free guide to publishing. It's a free phone call. Remember, make this free call right now and learn how to turn your book into something real that people can buy. Get your free writer's guide. Call right now. 800-482-8399. 800-482-8399. 800-482-8399. That's 800-482-8399.
Please let this nightmare stop! Please, I'm begging you to stop!
Rick Tittle invented FUBU.
Dominic Jimenez, would you like a trivia question?
No, I'm ready.
I ambushed him, but he's ready. We're 1 month away from the Winter Olympics in Cortina d'Ampezzo. Everyone will be staying in Milan, as they call it there. Milano. Over 90 countries will be represented, 3,000 athletes. Can you tell me who are the, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Give me the top 8 countries as far as how many athletes will be attending the Olympics.
Well, the United States.
Yes, they are number 1. Now, remember, this is the Winter Olympics. The United States is number 1.
Canada.
Canada is 3.
Sweden.
Sweden is 6th.
Great Britain.
No. They don't have any winter sports in Britain.
It's cold there in the proximity to all the other countries. I thought they might be.
No mountains.
Norway.
Norway is 8th.
Finland.
Finland is 7th.
Switzerland.
Switzerland is 5th.
France.
France is 4th.
Germany.
Germany is 3rd.
Denmark.
Denmark is not there. I need 2 more.
Norway, Finland. Okay, I did that. The Netherlands?
No.
Japan.
Netherlands are good speed skaters. Japan's not a bad guess, but no.
South Korea?
No.
I think I'm going to tap, but I'm proud I got 8 of them.
Pretty good. You got 6 of them, of the 8. Italy is number 2.
I said Italy.
You said Italy?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't hear you say Italy. I'm surprised because Italy is number 2 on the list. All right, well, then you got 7 of them. The only one you didn't get, and And honestly, I wouldn't have guessed it either because they're mostly, known for, I guess, hockey would be, in winter sports would be the Czech Republic. Good job. Yes, and I don't say Czechia. No one in the Czech Republic says Czechia. What if somebody just decided that instead of calling us America, they were going to call us Amérique? Yeah, you guys are Amérique now. No, we're not. Coming up in the next hour, Bull Riders Hall of Famer and CEO Shaun Gleason. And it's the Shaun Hour because we'll have Shaun Cassidy at 10:40 as well. Da-do, run, 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 da-do, run, run.
I'm Mike Sempervive with the Sports Byline Broadcasting Network 2-minute warning. And let me tell you something, you should have seen the text back and forth between myself and Sports Byline producer and spot host extraordinaire Dominic Jimenez last night. Did you hear that there NFL Black Monday rap I did yesterday? Waited on that thing in anticipation of John Harbaugh getting the boot in Baltimore until I couldn't wait any longer. And before that thing hit the airwaves in your ears, that's when the news broke. It was bound to. The first commentary I did hear way back in October was about St. Lamar needing to come back from injury to save the Ravens season and Harbaugh's job. It almost happened, but change is necessary and this will benefit two teams, the Ravens and wherever Harbaugh coaches next. First, the Ravens. This season was an absolute mess. That last game against Pittsburgh was the perfect microcosm of the entire year. Flashes of brilliance by a talented roster let down by failed playmaking and play calling. The pressure was on both Harbaugh and quarterback Lamar Jackson leading into the season, which they promptly began 1-5. The Ravens clawed their way back into the race, but they rarely looked like a cohesive unit on either side of the football. Over the past several seasons, the perception of who the Ravens are has become perennial bridesmaids that will blow fourth-quarter leads and suffer high-profile playoff failures. The reported rift between Harbaugh in the locker room as well as some in the front office over his support for offensive coordinator Todd Monken is what seems to have been his Waterloo. One of the most noted memories of this season's team will be the Week 16 loss to New England where Monken didn't run Derrick Henry for the last 13 minutes of the game as the Ravens blew a fourth-quarter lead, a strategy for which Harbaugh was unable to give answers for. But I also believe this move may be a blessing in disguise for Harbaugh. Sometimes familiarity breeds contempt, and this season in Baltimore a lot of fan contempt was shown. But those same fans should tip the hat. Even the ones who swear he was just riding a wave created by Brian Billick's teams in the early 2000s. But now that it's over, you have to go back to the days of Weeb Ewbank and Don Shula to find a greater coach in Baltimore than John Harbaugh. I'm sorry, Ted Marchibroda. Over 18 years, Harbaugh averaged 10 regular season wins a year, won 6 division titles, 24 playoff games, and Super Bowl 47. For nearly 2 decades, the Ravens have had a chance every single year, which most teams across the league can't say. I'm betting that whenever all is said and done, no matter where Harbaugh ultimately ends up, that team will be better for it, just like the Ravens were. I'm Mike Sempervive with the Sports Byline Broadcasting Network. 2-minute and 45-second warning.
Every champion has a team behind them, and for thousands of families without insurance, Christ Clinic is that team. At Christ Clinic in Katy, Texas, they provide high-quality, faith-based health care to people who can't afford it, because everyone deserves a shot at health, no matter their income or insurance status. Their doctors, volunteers, their mission, rooted in compassion, their impact, over 10,000 patient visits every year and growing. But they can't do it without help from fans like you. If you ever cheered for a comeback story, this is your chance to be a part of one. Donate today at ChristClinicKaty.org and help them keep the doors open for those who need it most. One gift can be the difference between surviving and thriving. Christ Clinic in Katy, where health meets hope and faith goes to work. That's Christ Clinic Katy, spelled KATY.org. Team up with them today.
Have you been daydreaming about losing weight for years? Do you just yo-yo back and forth? At Innovative Wellness Center, we have a holistic weight loss program that allows you to lose up to 20 pounds in 30 days. People are losing weight like crazy and keeping it off. It can be done from anywhere in the United States. Go to our website at www.innovativewellness.center and schedule your complimentary consultation today.
Getting together with friends to watch the game? Then you'll need American Premium Vodka. Handcrafted and pure, this is the one thing all Americans can agree on. Founder Mark Gus Scott, the finest natural elements America has to offer, and you'll taste how great it is to be American. Now available at Bevmo, GoPuff, Hy-Vee, Fairway stores. American Premium Vodka. This is the America we need right now. Go to AmericanPremiumVodka.com. Celebrate responsibly. Every champion has a team behind them, and for thousands of families without insurance, Christ Clinic is that team. At Christ Clinic in Katy, Texas, they provide high-quality, faith-based health care to people who can't afford it, because everyone deserves a shot at health, no matter their income or insurance status. Their doctors, volunteers, their mission, rooted in compassion, their impact, over 10,000 patient visits every year and growing. But they can't do it without help from fans like you. If you ever cheered for a comeback story, this is your chance to be a part of one. Donate today at ChristClinicKaty.org and help them keep the doors open for those who need it most. One gift can be the difference between surviving and thriving. Christ Clinic in Katy, where health meets hope and faith goes to work. That's Christ Clinic Katy, spelled KATY.org. Team up with them today.
Rick Tittle knows his sports.
I hate that guy.
I love that guy. Oh my gosh, he's so fine. Rick Tittle brings home the bacon, fries it up in a pan, and then he eats it.
Ricky T in the hizzle for shizzle, biznatch.
Thank you so much, and welcome back to Hour 2 of Titillating Sports. Shaun, Gleason, and Shaun Cassidy this hour. Just saw the Raiders home and away teams. We don't know the dates. Obviously, division home and away, Denver, Kansas City, San Diego / LA. So those are 6 games. The other games in Vegas, Bills, Dolphins, Rams, Seahawks, Titans. Away, outside of the division, Patriots, Jets, Cardinals, Browns, Saints, and at Levi's to play the Niners. So let's take a look. I'm going to say all 6 division games are losses. At home, they'll lose to the Bills. I think they can beat Miami. They'll lose to the Rams. They'll lose to the Seahawks. They can beat the Titans. So 2 home wins. They'll lose at New England. They can beat the Jets. They can beat the Cardinals. They can beat the Browns. They can beat the Saints. They'll lose to the Niners. So that's 4 away. So we're looking at a possible 6 wins for the Raiders next year, which would double their output. And then whoever the new head coach would be, like, wow, he's really making strides. Not worst to first, but worst to drafting 9th instead of number 1 overall. So it's a shame, but what do you want? Huh? What do you want? The Levi's game. I think I might be tempted to try to finagle a credential to that one. So I can watch the Raiders lose in person yet again. That'll be fun. 1-800-878-PLAY. TuneIn app, iHeartRadio app, Stitcher app, around the world on American Forces Radio Network. As I say, coming back just about from every break. Twitch.tv and YouTube streaming along. There I am with the camera pointed at my face. Also, CRN Digital Plus 2, the cable radio network channel 2, your cable provider. Titillating Sports with Rick Tittle Facebook fan page. Twitter at Rick Tittle. Come on back.
Joe Fallon did something smart. He saved hundreds on auto insurance switching to Progressive. With that money, he commissioned a portrait of himself. Does Joe already know what he looks like? Yes. Do guests know what he looks like? Also yes. But not as art. It's Joe's savings, and if he wants to spend it on a velvet painting of himself with a white tiger at his feet, we say, roar, Joe, roar. Switch and see if you could save with Progressive and treat yourself. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
I'm holding in my hand the American Silver Eagle dollar. It's a beautiful piece of American history, and it's 1 ounce of silver. Originally minted in 1986, these coins are a beautiful classic piece of American history, and they're a great investment you should add to your portfolio. The beauty of silver is that however much you have available to invest, silver is affordable and easy to acquire, with one coin costing around $30. So, if you choose to invest a few thousand in silver, you can get quite a bit for your money. And you'll have a tangible asset that you can hold, one you can be proud to own. Claim your piece of American history with American Silver Eagle dollars. Call the Silver Hotline right now.
800-620-1624. 800-620-1624. 800-620-1624. That's 800-620-1624.
Every champion has a team behind them, and for thousands of families without insurance, Christ Clinic is that team. At Christ Clinic in Katy, Texas, they provide high-quality, faith-based health care to people who can't afford it, because everyone deserves a shot at health, no matter their income or insurance status. Their doctors, volunteers, their mission, rooted in compassion, their impact, over 10,000 patient visits every year and growing. But they can't do it without help from fans like you. If you ever cheered for a comeback story, this is your chance to be a part of one. Donate today at ChristClinicKaty.org and help them keep the doors open for those who need it most. One gift can be the difference between surviving and thriving. Christ Clinic in Katy, where health meets hope and faith goes to work. That's Christ Clinic Katy, spelled Katy.org. Team up with them today.
Have you been daydreaming about losing weight for years? Do you just yo-yo back and forth? At Innovative Wellness Center, we have a holistic weight loss program that allows you to lose up to 20 pounds in 30 days. People are losing weight like crazy and keeping it off. It can be done from anywhere in the United States. Go to our website at www.innovativewellness.center and schedule your complimentary consultation today.
Hour 2 of titillating sports. You thought it couldn't get any better, but it's better. Rick Tittle is back. He's so great. I can't believe how awesome he is. More sports talk, yes. Couldn't get any better, but it's better. Rick Tittle is back. He's so great. I can't believe how awesome he is. More sports talk, yes. Hour 2 of titillating sports.
Hey, check out Channel 9. Check out Rick Tittle.
Thank you for that, and welcome back to the show. Rick Tittle with you, coast to coast and around the world on the American Forces Radio Network. It's our pleasure to welcome to the show Shaun Gleason, the CEO of the Professional Bull Riders Tour. And this weekend, Friday through Sunday, they will be at the most famous arena in the world, as they like to say in Manhattan, Madison Square Garden. Shaun, welcome to the show. I've been to a few PBR events, and I think it's, people maybe not know this. It's good family fun, too, isn't it?
Absolutely. I mean, we cater to all ages. Everybody loves bucking bulls and cowboys, and so whether you're out on date night or bring the family on Sunday, everybody should try it out.
I remember about 15 years ago, you guys were here at the Oakland Coliseum, and I was a media guest. I got to go right down where the writers were getting on the athletes. I thought it was funny that they're calling the Bulls athletes. But I was looking at the roster of the names of the Bulls, and one was named Cat Daddy. And I asked this bull rider, I said, "Have you ridden on Cat Daddy?" And he said, "Which one?" I'm like, so there's did they pass down the names?
There are a few bulls that have passed down the names or had variations of the play off of the name so that you know the lineage of the bulls. It's all about the DNA. So you want to know who Cat Daddy's daddy is.
So the other thing is, too, nowadays, wearing like chest protectors and face masks, you don't want to get your face smashed in. But then again, like when I was growing up in the 70s, like, if you were macho, you didn't do that, but then you get your face smashed in. So I think I'd rather be safe. When did we get to the point where that was okay and you were still a man to do that?
Well, it's always taken a man to get on the back of a 1,500 to 2,000 pound bucking bull, no matter what you're wearing. And and if I was doing it, I'd be wearing the Michelin Man suit. It's like there's not enough protection in the world to get me on a bucking bull. But we mandate helmets now. The vests are required, and it's not extremely overboard in terms of the safety equipment these guys are required to wear because it impedes their performance. But you want to wear some basic safety equipment when you're on a bull.
I was also surprised at how many people from overseas, especially Brazil, that day, because I just figured everybody's, from Texas or Wyoming or, something like that. I mean, there were, it's an international sport, isn't it?
It is. We actually have tours in Brazil, Canada, Australia, and then a handful of events in Mexico. And we've got competitors at the highest level from all of those countries. So a lot of Brazilians. It's a big sport in Brazil.
I noticed, too, that you are, and congratulations getting in the PBR Hall of Fame, and I thought, well, I went to that in Colorado Springs, but no, yours is an okay. The one I went to in Colorado Springs, that's the Rodeo Hall of Fame, I think.
That is the Rodeo Hall of Fame, the PRCA Rodeo Hall of Fame. A lot of our founders are in that Hall of Fame, but we have our own, and it is paired up with the National Cowboy Museum in Oklahoma City.
So do you get, when you, like a green jacket or a ring, what did you get for being a Hall of Famer?
I got a statue of one of my heroes, Jim Shoulders.
Mm-hmm.
And, he's really one of the godfathers of the sport. He was an incredible bull rider in his own right, but he was also one of the very first promoters that really took bull riding and brought it a little more into the mainstream. So I've got a painting of Jim, and it sits right over my shoulder, so he's overlooking every decision I make, and it's been there since I started.
Very cool. I also think it's interesting when I look, especially when I watch it on TV, about half the riders have these traditional, I think, cowboy names like Cody, Levi, Cade, Buck. I mean, they're just, those names ain't going anywhere, are they?
Now, we had a TV producer many, many years ago come in when we had our event in Anaheim, California, and they did a quick tour looking to see if there was a potential show there. And after they interviewed about 15 or 20 of the cowboys, he asked me who wrote their stage names, and I said their moms. It's like, I think at that time we had a Spud and a Tater riding, along with the typical Codys and Bucks. And yeah, but these guys are generally just good salt of the earth farm kids and cowboy kids that grew up with parents that love the Old West.
Well, that's the thing. I saw the PBR in Oakland. I saw it a couple of years ago in Sacramento as well. And about 2 years ago, I was at the Cody, Wyoming Night Rodeo. And the guy on the mic was going, "Where's everybody from? Where are people from Virginia? Where are people from North Carolina?" And he goes, "Anybody here from California?" And I raised my hand, and he went, "Welcome to America." I'm like, come on, man. Killing me.
Well, you guys got a bad rap in California in the flyover states. So, but we love California. We've got some of our biggest events: Sacramento, Anaheim, Oakland. We love California.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun, as I was mentioning too, and it's affordable. I mean, it's not like going to a Taylor Swift concert, so that's good.
Yeah, we've kept the prices down over the years, and it is very affordable, high quality entertainment.
Now, Madison Square Garden, right there, Midtown Manhattan. Yeah. How fun is that?
Year 19.
Wow.
And I'll tell you, it's a marked change from the first year when we were handing out tickets on the street corner to get anybody to come in and give it a try. But, here we are almost 2 decades later. We sold out every performance, every seat last year, and we're going to do it again this year. And it's taken a while to build the audience, but fans in the New York area love bull riding just like people in Texas do.
And that's the thing too. I mean, this sport is part of Americana, and when I spent a lot of time in Europe, and Europeans, not just Europeans, but all over, but especially Europeans, are fascinated by the American West and the cowboy, and there's just nothing like putting on that hat, and they think you still put on spurs and 6-shooters as well. But
Yeah.
what is it that just transcends, like even into 2026 is still going strong?
I don't know exactly. I mean, I think it's the romanticism of the movie industry in the 50s and the 60s, and John Wayne, and all of the heroes that came from that era, and somehow it's just survived. And that you put on that cowboy hat, it's kind of like putting on for a lot of people, it's like putting on a costume and hearkening back to an age when men were men, women were women, and people did cowboy stuff.
Last question for you. I'm joking around with some of these questions, but they need a guy who can take the old sport and bring it in to the modern era and the media and how you take advantage of it with streaming and social media and all that. And that's what you have done so well, and that's why you're in the Hall of Fame. What is it about that sort of savvy where you kind of are an old soul, but you got the modern look on how to get eyeballs on this sport?
Well, I've always, I started out in the music business, went into computer games and ran the sports division of a computer company. And so I've always been selling entertainment, if you will, in one form or another. And when I joined up with the PBR 25 years ago, it was the best product that I thought I'd ever have a chance to work with. And, it's just an exciting, incredible product when you entertain people with the best bulls and riders. And so bringing that and to a modern twist, we wrap it in the event in a rock concert environment. It's just quality entertainment from beginning to end. And I guess that's kind of what I've done all my career. And with PBR, it's been an easy labor of love.
All right. And by the way, Brady Fielder, Marco Rizzo, John Crimber, anybody else you got your eye on to take it home in New York?
Well, Clay Guyton is also in that young guns mix, but I'd never bet against Jose Vitor Leme, the 3-time world champ, who is out to win his 4th. So we've got one of the best fields of bull riders this year that we've had in the last 10, 12 years. It's just incredible to watch.
All right, everybody get down to the Garden, the PBR Monster Energy Buck Off presented by Ariat. That'll be at Madison Square Garden the 9th through the 11th, and then to North Charleston, Spokane. Check it all out at PBR.com. We've been speaking with the CEO and Hall of Famer, Shaun Gleason. Shaun, thanks for coming on, man. We appreciate it.
My pleasure. Anytime. Come see us.
Good stuff. Got a lot of Hall of Famers going on today, and we'll keep the Shauns going at 10:40, but we'll come back with open lines at 1-800-878-PLAY.
Hello, Americans. It's Uncle Sam here. If you owe $10,000 or more in back taxes to the IRS or state, don't worry. I've got important news that may help you negotiate a lower tax bill. In today's economy, the IRS has released a variety of new rules and is offering more flexible terms to help Americans looking to settle their IRS debt. If you apply today, we may be able to lift your wage garnishments and release a freeze on your bank assets or business. Our team of tax professionals can resolve your case and stop collection actions against you. Even if you've been audited or haven't filed a return in years, they can help. Call right now and find out if you qualify to settle your IRS debt for far less than what you owe. Pick up your phone right now and call us for a free $500 IRS tax review. Don't wait. Here's the number.
Call right now. 800-943-9215. 800-943-9215. 800-943-9215. Again, for the last time, that's 800-943-9215.
I've got a question for you. Do you want a lower car payment just by making a phone call? You know, most people buy a car and they pay whatever the car dealer says their interest rate is, and they forget about it and make payments. But did you know there is a secret in your contract that allows another company to refinance any car payment to try and lower it? It's true. There is indeed a company out there that knows the ins and, more importantly, the outs on car loans, and they know how to lower your current car payments. It's easy and fast, and you could have a lower car payment next month. Make this free call right now and find out if you could lower your existing car payment. Call the Car Savings Hotline right now. The call is free.
Call now. 800-605-1680. 800-605-1680. 800-605-1680. That's 800-605-1680.
Hey, vacation lovers! It's finally time to use all those random facts you learned on TikTok for something that actually matters. It's the Radio Trivia Challenge from thevacationbuddies.com. All right, here's how it works. Be one of the first 10 callers right now and you'll score a complimentary 3-day, 2-night getaway from the Vacation Buddies. You'll stay at none other than Westgate Resorts, in your choice of Vegas, Orlando, Myrtle Beach, or Branson. You ready? According to Travel Stats, which of these 3 cities is the most visited vacation destination in the U.S.? A, Las Vegas, B, Orlando, C, New York City. First 10 callers get the trip. So stop scrolling and start dialing. And let's see if TikTok actually taught you anything.
Be one of the first 10 callers. Call Vacation Buddies right now. 800-340-1834. 800-340-1834. 800-340-1834. That's 800-340-1834.
Just go ask your mama.
Okay, that's it.
Hey, your mama is in here.
Rick Tittle's got a black belt in keeping it real.
Keeping it Riz Neal, that's right. Coming up next, Shaun Cassidy will join us. And I told a couple people yesterday in my age group demo, and the girls were like, "Oh my gosh, I had such a crush on him." Blah blah blah. One guy said, "Why do girls like him? He looked like a girl." And I'm like, when you're 11 and 12, you don't want John Cena. He's scary. You want Jonas Brothers and Bieber and Chamelets. You want guys that don't look like they're going to punch you in the face. They want guys that are kind of girly. They're cute and they're not threatening. Plus he could act and he could sing as well. And I got to ask him about his dad. His dad always seemed to be covered with like a film. I won't say that to him. That's kind of an insult. But his dad was such an amazing grease ball with all of his, and I believe this is, I won't bring this up as well for obvious reasons, but I believe his dad died because he fell asleep while he was smoking and he burned up. Yeah, that's not very funny either. All right, 1-800-878-PLAY. There, as we're looking at all these transfer portals. I think it's interesting now that some players in college sports have been told, we're taking your scholarship away. Now, I didn't think that was possible, so I'm not going to get into the the what's going on at some of these places, but I have seen a lot of football players in college now go on social media and say, hey, I'm available. I got whatever, now 2 years of eligibility left. Here's a picture of me. Here's my highlight reel. And I was like, wow, times have changed. Tom Brady, Sr., when Tom was a quarterback at Sarah High, he was getting looks, but he wasn't getting looks from big schools. He was definitely getting recruited, but it was like probably like the St. Mary's of the world. And so his dad got a VHS tape of his highlights at Sarah, and then, saying, hey, the dude's 6'5", he's got a good arm. I know he doesn't look very athletic. He is. He's smart. You're going to want him. And he sent that tape everywhere. And he sent it to Ann Arbor. Michigan saw it, and they're like, you know what the hell? Why don't you come on in for a visit? And they had him throw, and they're like, all right, we'll give you a Scully. You're not going to start, but we think that you might be useful if push comes to shove and everybody gets hurt. Can throw you. we can throw you in there. Now you can just go on social media, right? You can just go on social media and say, here I am. And it's funny because I was looking at a situation now with Trinidad Chambliss, who is the quarterback at Ole Miss. And he just signed it's weird to say an extension, but he signed an extension to stay. However, a caveat there, he might not be able to be eligible. What? Yeah, it's a weird thing, but he was a Division II player. Ew, like Rick Tittle. He won the Division II national championship at Ferris State, which is in Michigan, I believe. Speaking of Michigan. And so they brought him in, Lane Kiffin brought him into Oxford. And he was academically ineligible. He didn't have the grades. He had the grades at Ferris State. I'm sure some professors there are glad to hear this. And so they wouldn't let him even practice in the summer. So they're like, dude, we're going to get you some tutors. We're going to get it ready. But now, because of the academics, and as he's getting ready to take on the Miami Hurricanes in the semifinals for the national championship, he's waiting to hear if he can get a 6th season of eligibility. Once again, a 6th season. Everybody got a break on the COVID year. But they're left in limbo right now because he signed an extension. Millions of dollars. We don't know how many, but they said millions, plural. But there is a stipulation saying, obviously, right, if you're ineligible to play, then we take the money back. So he's sort of twisting in the wind right now when it comes to that. But I think that's really cool. But, I mean, the 2024 Division II national champion was Ferris State with Trinidad Chambliss, which is a great name. By the way, I saw him interviewed after that huge win last weekend, and he had 2 diamond stud earrings in during the game. So when I played sports in high school and college, if you had any jewelry on, it was a penalty. If you had a necklace or anything, even under your shoulder pads, you could hide it. Now then again, I wore Raider sweatbands. Yes, we used to have sweatbands, and a ref told me to take it off, that was a 15-yard penalty, and he was going to let me slide, and I took it off, and then I put it right back on again. Ooh, what an iconoclast. Such a bad boy, Tittle. But I do think it's interesting now. I mean, I almost feel like the NCAA, they always say, like, the NCAA is a bunch of old white dudes who are living in the last century. Wow. This would be the ultimate. They're not old white dudes, but that would be the ultimate thing about, here's this guy, Division II, he goes to Ole Miss. His coach leaves. By the way, I guess Charlie Weiss's son is going to coach one more game at Ole Miss. What, they get the national championship and they don't coach? I think it's just hilarious. Like, these coaches now going with Kiffin to LSU, sort of acting like the Ole Miss thing's not happening right now. Oh, you won a game? Oh, and now you're in the semifinal? Well, none of that matters. This is what matters. What, the LSU offseason matters more than what's going on right now with Ole Miss? No. Now, you're lying to yourself. Ole Miss is much more important what they're doing right now. But it does suck for him that he has to sort of, as he's getting ready for the biggest game of his life, that he doesn't even know if he's going to be in college next year. And look, he is smart, because would he have gotten drafted had he come out this year? I think he would have, but he would have been like a Quinn Ewers type of thing, like 6th or 7th round. He's not hugely physically imposing, but stay one more year in college and become a millionaire? Yeah, that's the thing to do. I just think it's amazing that these players now have this type of leverage, and more power to them. I'm not jealous. As I said, more power to the guy right now. I also saw there was, and I forgot actually who the player was, but they were talking about how there were schools trying to get him in the portal, and there are a couple schools fighting over him, and that he could be making about $5 or $6 million. And they showed a picture of him, and he looked like the dumbest 14-year-old kid I've ever seen, with like Dorito stains and zits and like a retainer and uncombed hair. Now he's a great player. I thought this guy, this teenage dope, is going to be a multi-millionaire. As I said, no power to him, but it's funny because that never would have happened just even a couple years ago. Hey, I'm really good in college. Well, you're lucky you get a scholarship. Go down to the cafeteria and get your mashed potatoes and your dry chicken breast and some green beans. That's your scully. Now it's like, I can buy all the Doritos I want with these millions. All right. When we come back, Shaun, Cassidy.
Strange ways coming today. I put $1 in my pocket and I threw it away. Been a long time since I died. Made a jukebox sound like a mirror in my mind. All my worries fixed with thoughts. All my hopes.
My fellow Americans, let the message ring out that from this day forward, when you buy American, you buy the best. Handcrafted, something premium, something pure. For this is the very essence of what our servicemen and women gave their lives to protect, and by God, we shall not allow their sacrifice to be forgotten. It's time to show the world just how great American can be. And we will not wait for tomorrow to come. We will stand here, this moment, together, and we will start today. Don't ever forget how great it is to be American. America we need right now. American Premium Vodka. Celebrate responsibly.
Every champion has a team behind them, and for thousands of families without insurance, Christ Clinic is that team. At Christ Clinic in Katy, Texas, they provide high-quality, faith-based health care to people who can't afford it, because everyone deserves a shot at health, no matter their income or insurance status. Their doctors, Volunteers. Their mission, rooted in compassion. Their impact, over 10,000 patient visits every year and growing. But they can't do it without help from fans like you. If you ever cheered for a comeback story, this is your chance to be a part of one. Donate today at ChristClinicKaty.org and help them keep the doors open for those who need it most. One gift can be the difference between surviving and thriving. Christ Clinic in Katy, where health meets hope and faith goes to work. That's Christ Clinic Katy, spelled Katy.org. Team up with them today.
Life insurance is one of those things that just about everybody needs, but few people actually have. Hey, if you die unexpectedly without life insurance, guess what? You'll leave your family with even a bigger mess. Life insurance will help replace your family's income. It'll help cover burial expenses. Life insurance can even help pay off debt like credit cards and medical bills. Life insurance can even pay for college. And if you own a business and you die, life insurance can help your business from collapsing. It can even help cover estate taxes. Life insurance has never been more affordable and needed. Plus, you can always shop around even if you have a plan and save some money. So call the Life Insurance Quote Line right now for free pricing information.
800-915-9654. 800-915-9654. 800-915-9654. That's 800-915-9654.
Well, I was 16 and sick of school. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I bought a guitar, I got the fever. That's rock and roll. I played at parties, played in bars. I spent my money buying new guitars. I scream my heart out, but I love it. That's rock and roll. Well, come on, everybody, get down, get with it.
Welcome back to Sports Byline USA, coast to coast, border to border, and around the world on the American Forces Radio Network. I'm Rick Tittle. Nice to have you with us, and it's also nice to welcome to the show Shaun Cassidy, and he's promoting his tour in North America called The Road to Us. Tomorrow he'll be in Austin at the Paramount Theater. Lots of dates. You can go theroadtoustour.com. He'll be up here in NorCal at the Golden State Theater, a really nice theater in downtown Monterey on the 15th, and then at the Uptown Theater in Napa on the 16th. Shaun, I'm 60. I'm right in that pocket of your popularity when I was a kid in the 70s, and I had the 45 to do Ron. I think when I tell people I had the 45, they think I'm talking about a gun these days.
I'm right there with you, buddy. I tell my children I made 45s, and they're like equally confused. So it's all good.
What's that like now to have that career from those days all the way down? We pull songs right out of the sky and put them into our phones. I mean, you've lasted through all those years.
I'm grateful. I mean, it's funny, you know, I grew up around a lot of folks who had parents who are in the business. My parents, of course, Shirley Jones is my mom. Jack Cassidy was my dad. But one of our dearest friends was Rosemary Clooney, and I spent a lot of time at Rosemary's house, and younger people know her nephew George. But Rosie had all these gold records on her wall that were 78s.
Yep.
Right, from the 50s.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember thinking, man, she's from the time of the dinosaurs. and here she was out singing with Bing Crosby in her 50s and 60s. And I'm thinking she was in her 20s in White Christmas. And, you know, how did she do that? How did she last that long? And here I am now. It's a quick trip, but, you know, I started at 18 and I'm 67. And I'm out doing these shows that are story-driven. Most of my show is storytelling, and then I sing a lot of songs from back in the day and some new songs and songs from my family. But to your question, it's so fast, the journey. And I know they say that when we're young, you know, don't rush it, kid.
Mm-hmm.
Life goes fast, and yeah, old guy, what do you know? But it's true. It just does, and it gets exponentially faster each decade. I'm not used to saying I'm 40, and I'm in my 60s. So I think you need to just sort of embrace it all, not hang on to it, because then you really do become a dinosaur. You just got to keep open to the new stuff and learning new stuff. I just recorded 2 new songs that I wrote for the show, and I put them out on Apple and iTunes and Spotify and all the rest. I've had like 100,000 downloads. Amazing. I've made like $8. That's not the way it used to work, but whatever. It's fine. You know, the railroad will never die, but it'll change.
No doubt. Those 78s would go really fast too. Those were kind of scary. My mom had them. All right, you mentioned your parents, and we.
Yeah, you know, hey, I had Beta, right? Every new technology comes and it turns over faster and faster now. So don't get too, fall in love with any of it, because it's going to turn.
No doubt. You mentioned your mom and dad, and grew up watching your mom, but your dad, so many credits, and I'm a Columbo fan, and I think he was in the first one, and then he came back a couple years later, and he was always just so sassy and got the cigarette going, and it's like, screw all of you, I'll kill all of you. I mean, he was so good at kind of that swarmy, but yet kind of sophisticated, but cheesy. I mean, he just was so good in those roles. What was it like growing up with, you turn on the TV and there'd be something from the 50s and your dad is in it? What's that like?
It was weird, and it was also great. And, he is probably now most famous for playing the villain on Columbo. Mm-hmm. And as you said, he did the first one, and I was on the set of all of those, because he would bring me, and the first one with Peter Falk, who I got to know later, because I had an office at Universal, and I did the Hardy Boys at Universal, so I'd see all those guys. But in the early 70s, when my dad did those shows, I was a young kid, and he'd bring me, and the 24-year-old director of that first episode was Steven Spielberg.
No, really?
And he brought Spielberg home to the house. I'll never forget this. Wow. And I'm like 12, and it's like, why is my father bringing this young guy? Because my dad was in his mid-40s. Why would he bring this young kid home? And my dad was like, this kid's going places. And it's like, yeah, no kidding. But those Columbos were great, and I got to know Lincoln Levinson, the guys who created them. And when I created my first show, they were kind of my mentors at Universal. So I feel a very full circle experience with Columbo and Peter Falk, who I used to have lunch with a lot at the studio. And grateful to my dad to introduce me to that world as a young guy. And you're right, he was all those things. My dad was also really funny. Mm-hmm. He was very handsome, like classically, like old school, like John Barrymore handsome. And had a sense of humor about it. He'd play the vain, sophisticate. And that was another trick that Levinson and Link did with Columbo. They would always pit Falk against these really classy, smarmy villains, because Falk was, like an old cigar in a raincoat. And they always underestimated him. And, of course, he, kicked their butt every time.
Yeah, like the Patrick Magoons of the world, right? The guys,
exactly,
guys like that.
Robert Colt.
Yes. But the Hardy Boys, for people who don't know how huge that show was, and when you were my age, if you were a girl, you read Nancy Drew, and if you're a boy, you read the Hardy Boys, and even going back to our parents' days as well, and with Parker Stevenson. But that. I mean, you had the singing career as well, and I remember watching you on TV. You'd always had so much energy. You were always jumping around. So to be an actor in the hottest show on TV and the career at the same time, that must have been nuts. Did you even have time to sleep?
Not really. And it was nuts. It was fun, but I don't think it's an accident that at 21, I was doing a concert at the Houston Astrodome, 55,000 people. I said goodnight, and it was the last concert I do for 40 years. Wow. I didn't know it would be my last concert, but I ended up really as a life choice, honestly. I loved writing. Even on the Hardy Boys, I'd spend more time in the writer's room than I would on the set. I was just fascinated with how these people had this magic. They could come up with these ideas out of the air, and 6 months later, you show up on a set because somebody had a dream and they turned it into a script, and now 300 people have a job. It was incredible to me. And I want to do that. I want to learn how to do that. And fortunately, I did. And I ended up selling my first script in my late 20s, and I never looked back. So I stopped performing altogether. The last acting I did was in a Broadway show called Blood Brothers with my brother David. We did that for like a year and a half on Broadway in the 90s. But I sold a show called American Gothic that I wrote while I was doing Blood Brothers, and that became a big deal on CBS. Sarah Paulson's first series job, Gary Cole, and off and running I went. And I've been on a show ever since. I just spent 5 years on a show called New Amsterdam, writing and producing a medical show. So I didn't miss performing, but I missed the connection with an audience. And I missed, honestly, I just wanted to get out of my room. I've been locked in my room for 30 years. So like Rip Van Winkle, I decided to come out again and see what the world was like. And it's been amazing. I'm doing this show now called The Road to Us, and it's a lot of storytelling, which is my main job, but also I get to sing these hit songs from back in the day and talk about the Hardy Boys and talk about my family and talk about the audience. It's called The Road to Us, not The Road to Me, for a reason, because I feel like it's a shared journey. And these days you can get people out of the house to do anything. It's a gift, you know? So I just feel incredibly fortunate, like a full circle experience.
Yeah, I saw you a couple days ago, Valerie Bertinelli, and you guys had a couple of pictures together because she was on Hardy Boys with you, and she was the it girl there for a while, for sure.
And she came to my show. We just did a show in Palm Springs, and Val came, and it was great to see her. She looks fantastic. She is fantastic. And, yeah, quick 40 years.
Just a couple more questions for you. I know you have a lot of kids. Did they ever, or anybody, count how many Teen Beats or Tiger Beat covers you were on? How many? Do you even know?
Well, my kids definitely don't know because they weren't around. But, no, I didn't count, but it was quite a few.
All right, let's talk about My First Crush, because you have a wine line as well, Shaun.
Yeah, this is a little side thing that came about kind of accidentally during the pandemic. We live in the wine country of Santa Barbara, and we know a lot of great winemakers, and the best of them called me, and he said, hey, I've got 500 cases of extraordinary Pinot Noir that was slated to go to all these high-end restaurants that are now closed because of the pandemic. Do you know anybody that might want to buy it, or do you want it? I said, well, I'd like maybe one, but not 50 or 500. But let me see if I can help you sell it. So I called No Kid Hungry, which is a great organization I've worked with over the years, and they feed kids all over the world. And I said, what if I put a label on this great wine and sold it like over social media and gave you guys a percentage of the profits? Would you be into that? And they, great. So I did, and I had just trademarked My First Crush for a Las Vegas show that I was writing and producing, not to be in, but that went away because of the pandemic as well. Vegas is not doing shows now. So, but I had this trademark, and it ended up being a great name for wine. So I put this label on this wine, sold it off Facebook and Instagram, and it kind of caught on. And so we built a website, myfirstcrush.com, started a wine club, and now it's got a life of its own. And it's not a profitable thing for me, but it's definitely a labor of love, and it's helping No Kid Hungry and helps feed kids, and it helped the winemakers and the farmers in our valley, and so it's been a win-win-win. And it's if you join the wine club, you can come out to Santa Barbara and have wine with me, or we can do it via Zoom because we do these wine tastings every quarter, and it's fun.
Very cool. Last question for you. I was just thinking of Battle of the Network Stars when Robert Conrad and Gabe Kaplan had that famous race at the end. Did they ever try to get you? You weren't on that, were you? Did they ever try to get you on that?
They did, but I was always doing like concerts and stuff around the show. I never had any time. Parker did it. Parker Stevenson, who was on the Hardy Boys with me, he was on. I think Valerie was on it too.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember Bob Conrad was notoriously competitive. I mean, he had that reputation as an actor and a person.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't imagine him on any of those shows not, fighting to the death.
And he did. All right, everyone should check out ShaunCassidy.com, SHAUN, and the Road to Us Tour.com as well. And as I mentioned, tomorrow night at the Paramount Theater in Austin, and here in NorCal and Monterey on the 15th, and in Napa on the 16th. Shaun, great having you on, man, and hopefully we'll catch up down the road.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, I'm Rick Tittle. We'll take a quick break, and we will come on back on Sports Byline.
Do you need to sell your home? If you've sold a home before, you remember how stressful and expensive it was. Sold.com is here to help you sell your home for the most money and with the least amount of stress. There are new ways to sell your home that you've never heard of before. Did you know there are companies who'll offer you cash for your home? Did you know you could trade in your home for a new one? Did you know there are realtors who'll sell your home for a flat fee instead of an expensive commission? It's true. Sold.com services are free. So if you're looking to sell, make this free phone call right now and learn how your next home sale can be faster and easier than you ever thought possible. Pick up your cell phone and call right now. 800-251-7816. 800-251-7816. 800-251-7816. That's 800-251-7816.
I am a non-attorney spokesperson representing a team of lawyers who help people that have been injured or wronged. If you've been involved in a serious car, truck, or motorcycle accident or injured at work, you have rights, and you may be entitled to money for your suffering. Don't accept an offer you get from an insurance company until you talk to a lawyer, and we represent some of the best personal injury lawyers you can find. Tough lawyers that will fight to win your case, and they're so good they stake their reputation on it by only getting paid if you win. So if you've been in a serious car, truck, or motorcycle accident or hurt on the job, find out today for free what kind of compensation you may be entitled to. Call the legal helpline right now.
800-401-5163. 800-401-5163. 800-401-5163. That's 800-401-5163. Do you have a book? Get it out of your mind and make it a real book with a free guide to book publishing. Trying to publish a book yourself can be complicated. It takes a lot of time. Time that you could spend writing your book or even more books. Do what you do best. We can do the rest. Thousands of authors across the nation have trusted our book publishing service. We have the connections to help you get your book printed, distributed, and sold on Amazon, Apple Books, Barnes & Noble, and bookstores nationwide. We can do it faster than you can on your own. Get your free guide to publishing. It's a free phone call. Remember, make this free call right now and learn how to turn your book into something real that people can buy. Get your free writer's guide. Call right now. 800-482-8399. 800-482-8399. 800-482-8399. That's 800-482-8399.
What would you say you do here?
Well, look, I already told you. I deal with the customers so the engineers don't have to. I have people skills. I am good at dealing with people. Can't you understand that? What the hell is wrong with you people?
Rick Tittle will fight anyone listening to this.
Thank you for that. Welcome back to the show. The stupid Ravens, and I'll say it again, the stupid Ravens firing John Harbaugh. There are already reports that 7 teams have called his agent. Everyone. 7. I thought there were only 6 jobs available. Well, apparently Miami is asking if he would like it, and then they would fire Mike McDaniel. Apparently Jerry Jones is asking. Apparently the Bengals are asking, which would mean moving on from Schottenheimer and Taylor, respectively. And then I mentioned the one, the Giants, the Titans, the Falcons, the Raiders, the Browns, the Cardinals. They all want John Harbaugh. who won 180 games. He's been the coach there 18 years. The team's only been around for 30 years. And he was NFL Coach of the Year. He not only gets your team to playoffs, he's won 8 road playoff games. 8 road playoff games. That is the most by a coach in NFL history, which is hard to believe if you think about Walsh and Parcells and Landry and Belichick and all those, but there's a lot more rounds now. That's more than Belichick. He was mostly playing home games. Now, over the last decade, have they been amazing? No. They had an NFL MVP a couple of times. I understand the message gets old. You take him for granted. It's just tired. It's the same old thing. He's been there almost 20 years. It's time for a new voice. Well, you've now just entered into that void, and you're now out there with teams that suck, like the Raiders and the Giants and the Titans and the Cardinals and the Falcons and the Browns. You're just one of them now. You had a great coach, and now you're one of us. Body snatchers. Come on back.
I'm Mike Semper, the Sports Byline Broadcasting Network 2-minute warning. And let me tell you something. You should have seen the text back and forth between myself and Sports Byline producer and spot host extraordinaire Dominic Jimenez last night. Did you hear that there NFL Black Monday rap I did yesterday? Waited on that thing in anticipation of John Harbaugh getting the boot in Baltimore until I couldn't wait any longer. And before that thing hit the airwaves in your ears, that's when it was broke. It was bound to. The first commentary I did here way back in October was about St. Lamar needing to come back from injury to save the Ravens season and Harbaugh's job. It almost happened, but change is necessary, and this will benefit 2 teams, the Ravens and wherever Harbaugh coaches next. First, the Ravens. This season was an absolute mess. That last game against Pittsburgh was the perfect microcosm of the entire year. Flashes of brilliance by a talented roster let down by failed playmaking and play calling. The pressure was on both Harbaugh and quarterback Lamar Jackson leading into the season, which they promptly began 1-5. The Ravens clawed their way back into the race, but they rarely looked like a cohesive unit on either side of the football. Over the past several seasons, the perception of who the Ravens are has become perennial bridesmaids that will blow fourth-quarter leads and suffer high-profile playoff failures. The reported rift between Harbaugh in the locker room, as well as some in the front office, over his support for offensive coordinator Todd Monken is what seems to have been his Waterloo. One of the most noted memories of this season's team will be the Week 16 loss to New England, where Monken didn't run Derrick Henry for the last 13 minutes of the game as the Ravens blew a fourth-quarter lead, a strategy for which Harbaugh was unable to give answers for. But I also believe this move may be a blessing in disguise for Harbaugh. Sometimes familiarity breeds contempt, and this season in Baltimore a lot of fan contempt was shown. But those same fans should tip the hat, even the ones who swear he was just riding a wave created by Brian Billick's teams in the early 2000s. But now that it's over, you have to go back to the days of Weeb Eubank and Don Shula to find a greater coach in Baltimore than John Harbaugh. I'm sorry, Ted Marchibroda. Over 18 years, Harbaugh averaged 10 regular season wins a year, won 6 division titles, 24 playoff games, and Super Bowl 47. For nearly 2 decades, the Ravens have had a chance every single year, which most teams across the league can't say. I'm betting that whenever all is said and done, no matter where Harbaugh ultimately ends up, that team will be better for it, just like the Ravens were. I'm Mike Sempervive with the Sports Byline Broadcasting Network. 2-minute and 45-second warning.
Every champion has a team behind them, and for thousands of families without insurance, Christ Clinic is that team. At Christ Clinic in Katy, Texas, they provide high-quality, faith-based health care to people who can't afford it, because everyone deserves a shot at health, no matter their income or insurance status. Their doctors, volunteers, their mission, rooted in compassion, their impact, over 10,000 patient visits every year and growing. But they can't do it without help from fans like you. If you ever cheered for a comeback story, this is your chance to be a part of one. Donate today at ChristClinicKaty.org and help them keep the doors open for those who need it most. One gift can be the difference between surviving and thriving. Christ Clinic in Katy, where health meets hope and faith goes to work. That's Christ Clinic Katy, spelled Katy.org. Team up with them today.
Have you been daydreaming about losing weight for years? Do you just yo-yo back and forth? At Innovative Wellness Center, we have a holistic weight loss program that allows you to lose up to 20 pounds in 30 days. People are losing weight like crazy and keeping it off. It can be done from anywhere in the United States. Go to our website at www.innovativewellness.center and schedule your complimentary consultation today.
Getting together with friends to watch the game? Then you'll need American Premium Vodka. Handcrafted and pure, this is the one thing all Americans can agree on. Founder Mark Gus Scott chose the finest natural elements America has to offer. You'll taste how great it is to be an American. Now available at Bevmo, GoPuff, Hy-Vee, and Fairway stores. American Premium Vodka. This is the America we need right now. Go to AmericanPremiumVodka.com. Celebrate responsibly. Every champion has a team behind them, and for thousands of families without insurance, Christ Clinic is that team. At Christ Clinic in Katy, Texas, they provide high-quality, faith-based health care to people who can't afford it, because everyone deserves a shot at health, no matter their income or insurance status. Their doctors, volunteers, their mission, rooted in compassion, their impact, over 10,000 patient visits every year and growing. But they can't do it without help from fans like you. If you ever cheered for a comeback story, this is your chance to be a part of one. Donate today at ChristClinicKaty.org and help them keep the doors open for those who need it most. One gift can be the difference between surviving and thriving. Christ Clinic in Katy, where health meets hope and faith goes to work. That's Christ Katy, spelled Katy.org. Team up with them today.
Rick Tittle knows his sports.
I hate that guy.
I love that guy. Oh my gosh, he's so fine. Rick Tittle brings home the bacon, fries it up in a pan, and then he eats it.
Ricky T in the hizzle for shizzle, biznatch.
Thank you so much, and welcome back to the show. What's going on in your sporting world? Tottenham Hotspur will get underway at 11:30. Be watching that while I'm on the air. I love the NHL. I don't talk about it as much as I would like to. Just a fascinating stat, though. Colorado is by far the best team in hockey. They are 31-3-7. And that's the best record at the halfway point since the NHL went to an 82-game regular season schedule. They have had multiple 10-game winning streaks. Only 4 teams have done that in history. They score the most goals and they allow the fewest goals. Best offense and best defense. They score about 4 a game and they give up just over 2 a game. But here's the stat. They suck on special teams. Well, I shouldn't say that. Their PK is all right. But when they have the man advantage on the power play, they've scored 23 goals in 143 power plays. That's 16%. That's the lower third of the league. And Colorado is on pace to win 60 games. Only 4 other teams have ever done that. And it's extraordinary that a team can be the best team on offense, the best team on defense, and then suck on the power play. But it just goes to show you how good they are at full and equal strength. And that's even scarier, I think. When they have the man advantage, it's almost like they're not even interested. Like, that's too easy. We want to beat you head-to-head with the same amount of dudes on the ice. That is super scary. And you can hand them the President's Trophy at this point, which sometimes, most of the time, is a juice anyway. All right, check me out on twitch.tv and YouTube, streaming along as well. I have open lines a whole hour unless JD Sharp drops by, so come on back.
Logan Fury did something smart. He saved hundreds on auto insurance switching to Progressive. With that money, he bought a mini treadmill. Is walking on it during video conference calls more distracting than he thought? Yes. And is that because he overestimated his foot-eye coordination? Definitely. But it's Logan's savings, and if he wants to burn calories and any chance at a promotion, we say, good for you, Logan. Switch and see if you could save with Progressive, and treat yourself. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
Keep listening for details on how to get up to $300 airline credit. Sky Holidays introduces a one-of-a-kind air credit program. Our buying team got a little too aggressive in getting hotel and air deals, so now we have to liquidate our prices. Here's how. Whether you want to go to Paris, Las Vegas, London, Atlanta, Hawaii, or anywhere else in the world, we have amazing deals. Book a selected hotel. We'll give you up to $300 airline credit. Now you can book your vacation and get a free credit to use towards airline travel. We'll book both, airline and hotel, with one simple phone call. We have access to most airlines and deals on thousands and thousands of places to stay. Call right now, book your hotel rooms, claim your airline credit. You can change or modify it at any time. 800-256-4816. 800-256-4816. That's 800-256-4816. Hey, airline travelers, let's say you have a problem and you need to change or cancel an existing airline reservation. What do? Well, Skywatch is a free service that can help anyone with any airline reservation fix it. Whether you want to cancel it, change your dates, or add passengers, we can help fix your airline reservations so you get exactly what you need. We've updated our computer database and now have access to every airline around the globe. So now you can make one phone call regardless of who booked your airline tickets, and we'll change it, cancel it, and fix it for you. We know the insider secrets to fixing reservations that the airlines don't want you to know about. So if you need to cancel, change, or modify an existing airline reservation, call Skywatch right now. It's a free call, so let us fix it for you. 855-325-5647. 855-325-5647. 855-325-5647. That's 855-325-5647.
This is JD Sharp. I've been developing a revolutionary sports handicapping service, and you can be a part of the beta. Sign up at betus.com with a deposit of as little as $50 and use the promo code SHARPBetting. Email a screenshot of your account to worldwidesharp@gmail.com, and I'll reply personally with my plays. My NFL record this season was an industry best 72-33, and this is the only way to know all my plays the moment I make them. Let's keep making money together.
Titillating Sports with Rick Tittle. Rick Tittle is a genius, the best show ever. He's so wonderful, genius, the best show ever. He's so wonderful. Titillating Sports with Rick Tittle. Rick Tittle he's so handsome, he's a genius.
I am so excited to be back on the Rick Tittle Show.
Open lines at 1-800-878-PLAY. Dominic Jimenez, I'm coming to you again with a trivia question. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
So the Colts played Riley Leonard on Sunday, and they lost to the Texans. That now means Notre Dame quarterbacks have lost 25 consecutive NFL starts. Don't draft a Notre Dame quarterback. They suck.
Unless it's Joe Montana.
You beat me to it. Unless it's Joe Montana, and I guess you can say Theismann. Now, the last Notre Dame quarterback to get a win was Brady Quinn, who was filling in for the Chiefs in 2013. But then Quinn lost his next 4 starts. Can you name me the other 3 guys? I've given you Leonard, I've given you Quinn. In those 25 consecutive losses, who are the other 3 Notre Dame quarterbacks to lose NFL starts?
All right. Your favorite, Jimmy Clausen.
Jimmy Clausen, yes.
Oh, man, it's not Dorian Thompson-Robinson, but there was somebody who had a similar skill set and build, and Deshaun Kaiser?
Very good. Deshaun Kaiser said, I'm not going to be the best quarterback in history. I'm going to be the best football player in history. With the Browns, he was 0-15, Hugh Jackson.
I was going to say neither of those things came true.
Now, there's one more guy. He's only started 1 game, and it was for the Saints 4 years ago, and he lost.
I'd like to think that I'm going to pull this one, but I don't think I will.
Yeah. You got to kind of be a golden domer. You might remember the name Ian Book.
Oh, man, yeah. Should have known that one.
Yeah. I mean, when you hear it, but he wasn't a crazy superstar. 1-800-878-PLAY. Get in and get hurt. Get in and get heard. All right. The way it works now in college sports is you need benefactors, or what we call boosters, to just write checks. And it used to be, oh, now we can build a new weight room. You know, now we can, whatever, you know, have a new addition to the stadium. Oh, we have JD. All right. JD Sharp joins us from Pro Wagering. Of course, Pro Wagering is the outfit that has the experience and the insights to have you have a better job. JD, the Orioles, the Baltimore Ravens have fired John Harbaugh after 18 years, and Coach of the Year, a guy who has the most playoff road wins in NFL history, more than Belichick or anybody else. And now they're in the morass with the Raiders and the Cardinals and the Browns and the Giants and all these other terrible teams. And I guess they just kind of thought, the message is getting tired. In your mind, did he deserve to go? Because there are apparently 7 teams that have already called and asked if he'd like to come over.
No, of course he didn't deserve to go. What? Jackson was hurt for the first time. He finally got hurt, which was going to happen with the way he plays the game. Defense suffered some injuries as well. A couple players didn't play as well as they thought they would. They got a really good team. I think he's a pretty good coach. Definitely a top 10 coach, top 15 in the NFL. It's a really knee-jerk reaction, honestly. What, and why? Because Tyler Luke missed a field goal that, if you looked at that field goal, it was going straight in, curved to the right. And I never really seen that happen before. It was almost like it was magnetically driven to the right to hook that. No, of course not. He should definitely be the coach of the Ravens now, and I'm very surprised that they did what they did. People make stupid decisions all the time now. Right?
I remember you threw out the magnet theory a couple of years ago, too.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if you look at that field goal by Tyler Luke, it was going straight on, and it literally just went to the right. It felt like it was being pushed by some outside force to the right. I'm not just saying that. I think if you watched it again as well, you would see the same thing, right?
Of all the coaches that got fired, obviously Pete Carroll's going to retire as he was before. I don't see anybody these guys will be coordinators. Raheem Morris is a good coordinator. Brian Callahan, maybe. Jonathan Gannon, maybe as a coordinator. I think Kevin Stefanski will get another head coaching job. The question I have, Brian Daboll, he's good offensive mind, but would you let him run your franchise? Would you give him a job as a head coach?
No, how can you? Not only that, he doesn't have any presence at all. His players don't like him. He's not a player's coach. I think he has a good offensive mind. I think he probably could be a really good coordinator for a solid franchise. But no, I don't think he should ever get a chance to coach again. At least not until he proves himself as an OC for another team. Or maybe he goes to college. It was one of those like run and gun type of offenses in college. I have no idea.
Let me ask you too. Ty Simpson declared for the draft today from Ohio State, and he didn't end the season well. We watched him, but he did have a 28-5 touchdown to interception ratio. How do you rate him as a guy that possibly could play on Sundays?
So, Ty Simpson from Bama?
Sorry, I said Ohio State. Bama.
Oh, no problem.
Yeah,
You know, I think he's good. He's 6'2", 215. He's got a live arm. I think he's smart. He's actually relatively athletic. There have been multiple times where he's been able to get out of the pocket and pick up 10, 15, 20 yards when he needed to. I think he's got a chance to be a good pro. He's got a live arm. Again, he's like 22, 23 years old. He's going to be a world breaker? No. But I think he'll probably have a good combine. I think he'll be in a pretty good situation. He should get some good attention. So the interview, well, I would say, yeah. I think he's probably a second-day pick, unless he just explodes in the combine and workouts, and maybe his film starts. Maybe Kyler starts talking about him, Shea starts talking about him, something along those lines. But I think he's definitely a day 2 pick. Rick.
All right, one more question out of left field for you. The Arizona Cardinals are going to interview 7 guys. Tell me your top 2. Matt Nagy, who was the Chiefs OC, he went back down. Anthony Weaver, Dolphins defensive coordinator. Vance Joseph, Broncos DC, former head coach Robert Saleh, the Niners DC. Clint Kubiak, the OC with Seattle. Passing game coordinator for the Patriots, Thomas Brown. And then Raheem Morris, who just got fired in Atlanta. Of those 7, anything interesting for you?
Robert Saleh. I've always been a fan of Robert Saleh. He never really had a lot of talent with the Jets. I think the Cardinals have quite a bit of talent. I think his players like him. I think that he's proven himself as the Niners D coordinator. That D is not good on paper. They've suffered a lot of injuries, and I think he's been pretty good. So, give me Robert Saleh under those circumstances.
You think about the job he did with no Bosa, no Warner, and they were the lowest in sacks in the NFL, and they still got to the playoffs.
Well, yeah, I think Stout played really well for them. He's a rookie. He played well. Malik Mustafa stepped up a little bit. Steve Winters pretty well. So, yeah, I think Saleh deserves another chance.
J.D. Sharp, Pro Wagering. Thanks for jumping in, man.
Hey, thanks a lot, Rick.
All right. Pulled some questions out of my kazoo and threw them at him. We will take a quick break, and we have open lines the rest of the way, so come on back at 1-800-878-PLAY.
You hear that? That's the sound of uncertainty lurking under your hood. You know the feeling. I know I do. That sudden sinking sensation when you see a check engine light or your car unexpectedly breaks down and you're faced with sky-high repair bills. It's time to shield against unexpected repairs with CarShield. CarShield is America's most trusted auto protection company and has an A rating with the Better Business Bureau. Don't let the fear of a breakdown keep you up at night. Trust the Shield, CarShield, and say goodbye to terrifying repair bills and hello to peace of mind. Your plan also comes with 24/7 roadside assistance, courtesy towing, rental car options, and so much more. Don't wait till it's too late. Call CarShield now before a breakdown. Protect your wallet. Protect your car with CarShield. Get our best protection ever. Call now. You'll thank me later. 800-247-6135. 800-247-6135. That's 800-247-6135.
Are you over the age of 50? Want peace of mind and financial security for your family? Here's an important message to you from Senior Care USA. The average funeral now costs over $10,000. That leaves your loved ones the burden of paying your debts and funeral costs. Our plans start as low as $1 per day and will pay your family up to $30,000 to help pay for your funeral and other expenses. There are no medical exams. Rates will never increase, and your plan cannot be canceled, regardless of your medical conditions, as long as you make your premium payments. Get up to $30,000 in final expense insurance. Call now for free information. Just answer a few simple questions and get approved right over the phone in just a few minutes. Call right now.
Call 800-399-6879. 800-399-6879. 800-399-6879. That's 800-399-6879.
Hello, Americans. It's Uncle Sam here. If you owe $10,000 or more in back taxes to the IRS or state, don't worry. I've got important news that may help you negotiate a lower tax bill. In today's economy, the IRS has released a variety of new rules and is offering more flexible terms to help Americans looking to settle their IRS debt. If you apply today, we may be able to lift your wage garnishments and release a freeze on your bank assets or business. Our team of tax professionals can resolve your case and stop collection actions against you. Even if you've been audited or haven't filed a return in years, they can help. Call right now and find out if you qualify to settle your IRS debt for far less than what you owe. Pick up your phone right now. Call for a free $500 IRS tax review. Don't wait. Here's the number.
Call right now. 800-943-9215. 800-943-9215. 800-943-9215. Again, for the last time, that's 800-943-9215.
I gotta go to college. Gotta.
This isn't Russia. Is this Russia? This isn't Russia, is it?
Nah.
I don't think so.
Rick Tittle ain't the man, but Rick Tittle know who the man is, and he slapped his white fanny.
Thanks so much. Open lines the rest of the way, and I'm going to talk like this. 1-800-878-PLAY. Come on in and get heard. 1-800-878-7529. I said, come on in and get heard. There's a interesting situation going on in European soccer that I think about how American owners. Now, there have been American owners. The Lerners bought Aston Villa at one point. You had the Glazers who owned the Bucks, owned Manchester United, had tremendous success. Kroenke owns Arsenal. It goes on and on. You know, Brady has put money into Birmingham City. You have J.J. Watt, who's put money into Burnley. This is because they can afford these teams and they can't afford NFL teams. Well, Kroenke can. Obviously, he owns the Rams. But there's a guy named Todd Bowley who came into Chelsea and immediately fired Thomas Tuchel, who's now, he's German. He's now the head coach of the English national team. Yes, funny because they've had an Italian, they've had a Swede, and now they have a German head coach. But they just buy players, and then they just buy and buy and buy, and then they sell and sell and sell. There's really no real plan. But they got this guy, Maresca, from Brighton Hove Albion, and in 18 months he won the Club World Cup, which we flogged a lot on this show. Club World Cup, and then also won the Conference League, which is the third tier of European soccer after the Champions League and the Europa League. Tottenham Hotspur won the Europa League, by the way. I'll have you know. So in year and a half, he had 2 trophies, but he had a bad month, so he's fired. Extraordinary. Like, who would want this job? Who in the world would want this job? It's absolutely insane. So, but I bring it up not because Chelsea is stupid. I bring it up because they also own Strasbourg. Strasbourg is a beautiful city in Alsace. And Alsace is just to the southeast of Lorraine. Sometimes they're included together because in World War I, it's changed hands back and forth. It is Germany, but after World War II, it's back to being France again. So, and I love Alsace. I've stayed in Riquevier and Ribouillet. It's in the Vosges Mountains. I know I sound very posh. I was posh. But people are wearing berets and having baguettes, and they're going, bonjour, bonjour. Meanwhile, all the towns have German names, like Kaiserberg and Riquevier and Strasbourg. Strasbourg is beautiful. It has canals. It's not as nice as Colmar, which I've also stayed in. That is the Venice of France. My point is, there is a former player in the English League named Liam Rossignol. Some people call him Rossignol. But Liam Rossignol is a coach of Strasbourg. He's 41 years old. And Strasbourg are doing very well. But they're also owned by Todd Bowley, or Clear Lake Capital. And so they said, let's just use him. He's English, and he's doing well in France. So we'll use him. And the problem is Strasbourg in Europe, which means they're playing in a European competition. Yes, they're on the continent. Strasbourg in Europe, they're having a good season for them. And the president of the club said, if you just take our coach like he's some minor leaguer, I'm going to resign. So I don't know if he has yet or not, but that's exactly what happened. Now, Liam Rossignol, I remember when his dad played, by the way. But what's he going to do? Say no to the Chelsea job? In the poshest area of London with big pocket owners, and you got all this great talent on that team? Plus, his boss says you've been promoted. And there are a lot of people that have a big problem with the fact that if you own multiple clubs, that you could do such a thing, that they are supposed to be, whilst not sovereign states, you know, you can have player development and training and stuff like that, but you can't just take the lower coach and move him up. Well, to the American owner, that makes perfect sense. Why wouldn't I? Who cares about Strasbourg? And that's the thing you're telling your fans in France of the team you own there, that they don't matter as much. And in the grand scheme of things, Strasbourg doesn't matter as much as Chelsea. They play in Ligue 1 in France, Ligue 1. They're not in the Premier League, which brings them much more revenue. Also, they have a guy they can control because he's been an employee for a while, and he's done a good job, and he's mind his P's and Q's, and he hasn't upset the apple cart. And so they figure this guy will be good. We know that he's a good employee, and he'll do what we say. And by the way, and being the first black manager now of Chelsea, but Chelsea's first black player ever was Paul Canaville. That was in 1982. The Jackie Robinson, or the first ever black player for the English national team, is a guy named Viv Anderson, who's about my age. That'll tell you how long kicking and screaming a lot of European clubs were when it came to integration. Now, Ruud Gullit is half Dutch, but I mean he's black as well. So I mean, he came in with Chelsea in '96, and Ruud Gullit, by the way, one of the great Dutch players ever. If you think about what he did for Inter Milan, what he did for the Dutch national team, what he did for Sampdoria. I remember in 1991, every weekend I would tape the Serie A game on PBS, which they would have. And a lot of times it was Sampdoria, who I loved, playing at the Estadio Luigi Ferraris because they had David Platt on that team. They had Arne Winter. And that's back when you had the Tre Stranieri rule, the three strangers, the three foreigners. You couldn't have more than three guys who weren't Italian on the team. And Hullet, a great striker, transformed himself into a sweeper, basically the last guy on defense. And so many times when they needed a goal, he would just run up the pitch. He was absolutely amazing. He also did a full hour with me from Holland on this show because I was talking to him, and then I was like, do you mind sitting through the break? Do you mind sitting through the break? He's like, no, go ahead. I did a full hour with Ruud Gullit. That was pretty cool for me on that day. But you think about guys who have had, of African heritage who've been managers in the top flight. Paul Ince had a little blip at Blackburn. Obviously, Espirito Santo with Wolves and Tottenham, and now with West Ham, although he's about to get fired. But 43% of the Premier League have what they call in England a black background, as we would say here, a African heritage. But they have 3% of board and senior leadership. And at the coaching level, the figure is 2%. And this is, if you think about how many English managers are even in the Premier League, there were 3 until Liam Rossignol. The only other 3 were Sean Dyche, Eddie Howe, and Scott Parker. There aren't even English guys in there. 16 of the 20 Premier League managers are foreigners. So if you look in Italy, only 4 are foreigners. If you look in Spain, 11. In Germany, there are 12, and in France there are 10. So there's a lot to work out there for them, and you know what, they don't really care when it comes down to it. But I don't know. I just thought that was it's weird when you have 2 teams and then you just have this American owner. It's like, oh, just bring him in. And everybody gets pissed off and they hate America. All right, fine. One other thing before we go to the break. The Max Preps National High School Coach of the Year at Santa Margarita High School, which was not a traditional powerhouse. They're not like Modern Day or a Servite or Don Bosco Tech or some of these teams, even some of those really good schools like Bannon and others and some South Central schools. Santa Margarita in California, who beat De La Salle, the head coach, National High School Head Coach of the Year, Carson Palmer. Maybe the Raiders will hire him. Just do the former player. Just do the complete promotion from the hinterlands. All right, come on back. We're talking some sports.
Are you 50 or older? This news is for you. The CDC recommends you get vaccinated against pneumococcal pneumonia. Even if you're healthy, your age puts you at risk. People 50 or older are over 6 times more likely to be hospitalized with pneumococcal pneumonia compared to adults 18 to 49. Just one shot can help protect you. Learn more and schedule at vaxassist.com. That's VAXassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Have you suffered sports betting losses? There is someone who wants to fight you to get back what you have lost to those sports betting companies. Michael Watts, a prolific trial lawyer with over $11 billion in total recoveries for his clients. And now with sportsbettingclaim.com, he'd like to help you. Michael has been a leader in some of the largest and most complex cases in the country, from defective cars and tires to damaging drugs and medical products. He has always represented the rights of individuals harmed by large corporations. His efforts recently resulted in the recovery of billions for individuals who lost their properties to fires carelessly caused by electric companies and others. Michael knows that sports betting companies preyed on and manipulated consumers into losing their life savings, and he wants to make them pay. If you have suffered financial hardship as a result of online sports betting and would like help seeking compensation, please submit your claim information for evaluation at sportsbettingclaim.com. Michael Watts is focused on winning for you. sportsbettingclaim.com.
I'm holding in my hand the American Silver Eagle dollar. It's a beautiful piece of American history, and it's 1 ounce of silver. Originally minted in 1986, these coins are a beautiful classic piece of American history, and they're a great investment you should add to your portfolio. The beauty of silver is that however much you have available to invest, silver is affordable and easy to acquire, with one coin costing around $30. So, if you choose to invest a few thousand in silver, you can get quite a bit for your money, and you'll have a tangible asset that you can hold, one you can be proud to own. Claim your piece of American history with American Silver Eagle dollars. Call the Silver Hotline right now.
800-620-1624. 800-620-1624. 800-620-1624. That's 800-620-1624.
Are you a fan of paranormal radio? Bigfoot, UFOs, ghosts, hauntings, cryptids, true crime? After Dark Radio with Brian Alvarez airs live on Sports Byline every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 Eastern, talking all manner of the strange and unusual. From the latest news of the weird to interviews with the top names in the field, After Dark is your source for paranormal radio. Check it out, 2 Pacific, 5 Eastern, every Wednesday, live on Sports Byline USA.
You know, like kickboxing, that's my favorite sport. Kickboxing is great. When you think about it, it combines the style and grace of boxing with kicking.
Mirror, mirror on the wall, tell me, mirror, what is wrong? Can it be my de la clothes or is it just my de la soul? What I do ain't make-believe. People say I sit and try, but when it comes to being de la, it's just me, myself, and I. It's just me, myself, and I. It's just me, myself, and I.
Rick Tittle can usually be found at He Baby Mama House.
Thank you for that. Welcome back to the show. I don't know if you just heard in the break there, we aired a promo for Brian Alvarez's Bigfoot Ghost Show. What's it called?
After Dark Radio.
After Dark Radio. It's at 2 p.m. It's a Bigfoot Ghost Show. It's actually really good. I'm not a big wrestling guy. Brian, he's been in here with me before. He's very good at what he does. But he had one of the all-time greatest lines, and he wasn't even joking. This is a few months ago. And I was still here, and I don't know, we got the program audio going through the whole building, and I was in the bathroom, and I heard Brian, he was on the air in his Bigfoot show, and he said, and he was literally perturbed. He wasn't kidding. He goes, I tell people I know, don't text me while I'm on the air because it distracts me. And I'm talking to you, Filthy Dan.
That was actually on the radio show, the wrestling show.
The wrestling show. Okay, fine. He does a wrestling show as well. Dominic's always going to get me on these technicalities. But yes, Filthy Dan is one of the great nicknames.
Tom.
Filthy Tom.
Former UFC fighter, hence the nickname.
All right, why do I even talk? Nick Tittle, it's Rick. It's Rick Tittle. Filthy Tom, yeah. All right. Well, I thought that was the name of a listener. If that's the guy's real name, then that's not even funny.
It's his, I think, like 2 or 3 day a week co-host.
All right. I should just worry about my own show. That's the lesson there. All right. Rumor mills. I'm here for your rumor mills. Coming through on some of these head coaching vacancies. I mentioned to JD some of the names for the Cardinals. It's been reported out of Nashville that they really want Kevin Stefanski so he can come in and work with Charlie Ward and Travis Hunter, and that he can get the most out of those guys. I could see that. The Giants have already done an interview with Mike Kafka, who's their interim head coach on a 2-game winning streak. There's going to be a dinner with Kevin Stefanski tonight. This is all according to NFL media. Next week, Mike McCarthy, then Vance Joseph, Clint Kubiak, Lou Anarumo, Colts defensive coordinator, and Raheem Morris. And as for John Harbaugh, the Athletic said there will now be 9 teams involved, and that the Giants, who apparently that was the guy they wanted, that they need to make him an offer and offer him right now before he can go anywhere else. And you just never know. It's like, who the hell would want the Raider job? They have 2 good players, and one of them is pissed off. And you'd say, well, it's Vegas, $110 million in cap space, Fernando Mendoza. Maybe it's not as bad as you think. And it's like, don't go to Vegas. We can't assume you're going to no. The Titans have already interviewed Mike McCoy. Remember him? Well, he was the interim. They also will interview Anarumo, Nagy, Steve Spagnuolo again, Jason Garrett. Wow. Stefanski, Morris, Vance Joseph, and Cliff Kingsbury, who turned down Mark Davis to be OC. He's just been fired as Washington's OC because he had the temerity of letting Jaden Daniels get hurt. The Browns will interview their coordinators, offensive Tommy Rees, defensive Jim Schwartz. I would love to see him and Jim Harbaugh, have a handshake again, like the old Niner Lions days. Todd Monken, former Army coach, he's the ex-Ravens OC. Aiden Dirty, Dirty Tom. Filthy Tom. Aiden Dirty, D-U-R-D-E. I'm allowed to laugh at surnames. He's the Seahawks defensive coordinator. And Dan Pitcher, not a baseball player, on the bump, y'all. He's the Bagels offensive coordinator. It was reported that tonight the Raiders will meet with Davis Webb. And this is so stupid. He's the quarterback coach of the Broncos. Davis Webb was the Cal quarterback not that long ago. And I remember him being on KMBR. I was listening to the interview here in San Francisco, and his agent told him that he would be a first-round pick. And I'm like, your agent's an idiot. Now, Davis Webb did have a cup of coffee in the National Football League. That is true. But you don't hire the Broncos quarterback coach who's in his 20s. Nah, I'm good. The Raiders are going to interview Matt Nagy. Please no. The Raiders are going to interview Vance Joseph. Vance Joseph, I would love to have him as, a DC. I don't mind Patrick Graham, who's there right now. And then Friday, they're going to interview Clint Kubiak. And it scares me to think that's my top choice out of all the guys I just named. But as I mentioned yesterday, I just hate that surname. I hate it. Yeah. So, there was one thing about Harbaugh situation, John Harbaugh to the New York Giants, that they were talking about in the New York press, is that John Harbaugh does not want the job, if Joe Shane is going to stay as the GM. And there are a couple of people who think that they could coexist. I don't know what the history is there. I don't know. Maybe John Harbaugh's like, he's the belle of the ball right now. Maybe he could do like Mike Holmgren did in Seattle and say, I want to be head coach and I want to be GM. And by the way, Mike Holmgren relinquished that. Mike Holmgren, the granddaddy of all Andy Reid's. So we'll see one way or another. Joe Shane was neighbors with Eric DeCosta, the other GM, and we'll see. But I am surprised that the Titans interviewed Jason Garrett. I just thought his time was over. And, you know, he works for NBC Sports now. And did he do okay as a Cowboy backup quarterback and Cowboy head coach? Yeah, he did okay. But that's who you want to come in and work with Cam Ward. That's the whole thing. Is it's all about Cam Ward. That's who it is. So Ian O'Connor, who is a writer, said that John Harbaugh wants the Giants job because he can't wait to work with Jackson Dart. Really? I mean, Jackson Dart is a promising young quarterback, but that you would forego all the other crap that comes with that job because you want to work with Jackson Dart that much? I know it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But you know, this Lou Anarumo, he must not interview very well. You know, it's sort of like that Eric Bieniemy character out of Colorado who, despite where he was with Kansas City or whatever, he would go on a million interviews and not get it. There are some guys that just don't interview well. And I remember Mike Singletary, greatest player in Baylor history, he interviewed for the job and it was basically a shoo-in. It was a done deal. And then they were like, you know what? No. Maybe he dropped his draws. But yeah, Anarumo, that guy has been around for a while. The Falcons have requested an interview with the 49ers executive Josh Williams to be the GM. Williams already has an interview to be GM with the Dolphins. And last year, he almost got the job in Jacksonville. Do you know who got the job in Jacksonville and is doing an amazing job?
Liam Cohen?
No, the GM.
Oh, the GM. Is it? No, it's not Balky anymore. I don't know.
Trent Balky. There are some guys out here in San Francisco. Remember, does it kill you? By the way, Dominic, does it kill you when everyone's talking about that the greatest coaching they've ever seen in their life is what Shanahan and Saleh have done this year?
So as the number one member of the Kyle Shanahan haters club, I can admit, yeah, he's done a fantastic job this year. But if it doesn't end up in a title, you can't call it the greatest coaching season ever. But he's done very well given the limitations he's had.
All right. Thank you for that. Not that I care. But yeah, I mean, he's done a pretty great job when you think about what that team has had to go through. Jared Dubin, the writer, he has listed the top 3 jobs that are available of the 6, and maybe even more to come if McDaniel and guys like that get fired. He says the number 1 job is the Falcons, and I'm going to have to disagree with that because you have, first of all, Penix has done his ACL, for the 3rd time. He did it twice at Indiana before he finally got to UW, and he's hurt. And Arthur Blank is a good owner. I have no doubt about that. And they have a beautiful new stadium. You're telling me the Falcons are the best job? And then he has Giants second. Well, the Giants do have their quarterback. I get that. And then he has Titans. Why? Because of Cam Ward? I don't know. I mean, all these jobs are pretty poopy when you think about it. I heard Tim Ryan, the Niners play-by-play guy, said that the best thing that happened with the Niners finishing in 3rd place is that they'll have a 3rd-place schedule next year. And so, I mean, you talk about just lighting a candle wherever you are. and Bournemouth have just equalized. That sucks. All right, we'll take a quick break. If you want to get in, do it now on Byline.
Do you need to sell your home? If you've sold a home before, you remember how stressful and expensive it was. Sold.com is here to help you sell your home for the most money and with the least amount of stress. There are new ways to sell your home that you've never heard of before. Did you know there are companies who'll offer you cash for your home? Did you know you could trade in your home for a new one? Did you know there are realtors who'll sell your home for a flat fee instead of an expensive commission? It's true. Sold.com services are free. So if you're looking to sell, make this free phone call right now and learn how your next home sale can be faster and easier than you ever thought possible. Pick up your cell phone and call right now. 800-251-7816. 800-251-7816. 800-251-7816. That's 800-251-7816. Packages start at $29.99 a month with sign agreement. Restrictions apply. Speak to a representative for complete offer details. See Vivint.com for license details. Terms and conditions apply.
Homeowners, if you're looking for the best in home security and smart home technology at a price you can actually afford, we have great news. Now you can get Vivint's award-winning home security systems starting at about $1 a day. U.S. News and World Report has recognized Vivint as the best professionally installed home security system of 2022. And right now, you can get Vivint's home security technology for about $1 a day. Plus, get free professional installation from a licensed technician. Protect your home and loved ones for as low as $1 a day. Call right now for your free home security consultation.
800-918-6189. 800-918-6189. 800-918-6189. That's 800-918-6189. Do you have a book? Get it out of your mind and make it a real book with a free guide to book publishing. Trying to publish a book yourself can be complicated. It takes a lot of time. Time that you could spend writing your book, or even more books. Do what you do best. We can do the rest. Thousands of authors across the nation have trusted our book publishing service. We have the connections to help you get your book printed, distributed, and sold on Amazon, Apple Books, Barnes & Noble, and bookstores nationwide. We can do it faster than you can on your own. Get your free guide to publishing. It's a free phone call. Remember, make this free call right now and learn how to turn your book into something real that people can buy. Get your free writer's guide. Call right now. 800-482-8399. 800-482-8399. 800-482-8399. That's 800-482-8399.
I'm a pretty normal guy. I do one weird thing. I like to go in the women's room for number 2. I've been caught several times, and I have paid dearly.
Tittle never eats beef jerky during any month that ends in Vember.
Thank you for that, and welcome back to the show. Yesterday I was talking about how the TCU quarterback is going to be the Indiana quarterback, that they were able to entice him, as they did last year with Mendoza from Cal, and you look at the results. So Kurt Signetti, coming over from James Madison and bringing a lot of those players, he's going to have a third different quarterback 3 years in a row. But you wonder where they're getting their money from. One of them is one of their famous billionaire alumnus, Mark Cuban, who I believe played rugby for Indiana as well. But Cuban did confirm that he made another significant donation so that Indiana could compete in the portal. And some reporter said, how much was it? And he goes, let's just say they're a lot happier this year than they were last year. So throwing a lot of cash to make his alma mater better. And this is what you have to do now. And I talked about before at Kenny Dillingham, when the Arizona State coach, when they saw him do an extension, he came out to meet the press. He said, please, somebody, wherever you are in the valley of the sun, Paradise Valley, Phoenix, Scottsdale, he's like, just write a check for $5 million and you'll be famous. He goes, well, we'll name something after you. He goes, that's all we do it. And then we can compete. And you might think that's one of the most, buying success in amateur sports. Is it really amateur? Not really. Now that you're paying guys, they don't call professional sports, but it is. But that's just the way it is now. And you say, well, that's ridiculous. There was such a stain. Even soccer players were not allowed to be professional in England until, the 50s? Jim Thorpe